Hello, everybody. We're here at the USHL Phase 1 draft, talking about some of the top 2006s throughout North America. We've put up on our website, if you want to click on it, USHL draft top 300 rankings. These are American players only. Then we did a follow-up yesterday with some Canadian kids that are going to be drafted today. Some kids are already tendered, and then there's some kids here that have some interest in NCAA. So we put a list of 50 of those guys together, and then another list of kind of draft considerables, kids that, later in the draft, some teams will take local players, kids from, say Des Moines, take some Des Moines kids, Omaha, take some Omaha kids. So sometimes those kids aren't in our top 300, but they're still good players. So we put a list together of those guys. Here with us today is Brian Murphy, Director of U.S. Scouting.
Hi, everybody.
Ian Moran, Director of the NHL Scouting. And Andrew Serpico, is a head scout U.S. Down in Nashville, but he kind of covers everything. We'll be joined throughout the day with other scouts. Ed Bessinger, for example, jumped on. Hey, Ed.
Yes.
Ed, primarily covers the Northeast, but he covers all of the United States. He also heads our video scouting department. So between the five of us, we'll be able to give you some insight on every player that's drafted, unless they take like a Euro or something like that. Which
all right, we just had our first pick come through for Waterloo. They moved in the top spot with the trade from Des Moines. Waterloo had already tendered a Canadian player, and this is a player, Ian, you brought up the other day to me about he's not in the top 300, and he's actually a Canadian player, I believe, Matthew Frost.
He's on our Canadian list.
Yeah, he's on our Canadian list. He's
so Ian, we want to talk a little bit about Matt.
Yeah, he's a very smart player, 200-foot centerman. Anything you like about
him? Matt Frost, kid, he plays for South Kent Selects. He played up with the U16s. He's one of their top guys as an underager. Really, he's only listed here at 5'10", 150, but he's stronger than that. Hard on his edges. He plays a good two-way game. He's a centerman. Saw him at the USHL Showcase earlier in the year. Played with some pop, played with some physicality. Liked his game, kind of attack the net. He can shoot. And then as later in the year, I thought his game really developed where his skating got a little better. Not saying he wasn't a good skater before, because he was, but he added another gear. This is a kid who can play in the USHL early.
Yeah.
And Waterloo likes these kind of guys, more physical forwards. He doesn't just rely on his skill. He can make an impact on the game, even if he doesn't have the puck. So Frost, nice pickup here. We didn't put him in our OHL draft list, even though he went in the OHL, because he was born in Saskatchewan, or at least that's what we had in our system. So we had him on our Western Canadian list. And then he went 2 days ago in the OHL draft. So really good player. This is a nice pick here for Waterloo, jumping up into the first overall. Number 2, you got Reed Verconi. We're out NAX, played with the U18s. It's another kid that played up a level. He is, there's some similarities actually between him and Frost. He's strong on the puck. He's got really nice set of hands. Played at the NTDP top 40-man camp. He was like a B grade for us. He had a chance of making the team for sure. He needs another step, but he's another guy that he's strong enough, he's skilled enough, and he's smart enough to play in the USHL early. So, and playing up there in Western Canada in that CSSHL at this age, pretty impressive. Most of these kids are playing U16s, so to play U18s and to have the year that he had, this kid's a real deal, and he'll be able to play.
And I think both these players, the way they play is mature. They don't force their skill on the game. They don't turn the puck over. They value possession. So that's one of the things that both of them have in common. So let's move on.
Next up, the third overall, Green Bay. There's some changes going on in Green Bay, but going to give Green Bay a note here, because last year they were the ones that took Nelson in the second round, where a lot of people didn't have him, and the kid's now, arguably one of the best 05s in the country. So a credit to Green Bay staff. They do a great job. They select here, third overall, Aiden Park. So this is the third kid in the row who's played up a year. He played on the 16s with Shattuck St. Mary's. Power forward, really can score. He's got to work on his feet. At the NTDP camp, I thought his feet got exposed. Pace of play was tough on him. But this kid, ever since Bantams, he's been a goal scorer and did it again this year in the 16s. Serp, I know you just saw this guy out at Nationals. What'd you think of Aiden Park?
Yeah, he's a strong puck possession player. He loves to have the puck on his stick. He's got a nasty toe drag. He was shooting through defensemen pretty easily. He holds the puck out wide. He can use his body, but he can also dance. He lacks that footwork, like you said, so he can't really separate too much, but he can hold the puck when he's navigating through traffic pretty well.
Sorry about that, guys. We just had a technical glitch. I wasn't able to hear anything you guys said, but I just got the end of it. We had ours on mute, so sorry, Ian. We cut you off there on.
No worries. I'm used to
on the number one pick. Ian, take us back to pick number one with Waterloo. I know this is a guy that you've always thought pretty highly of, especially from the beginning of the year and on.
I just think he's a real 200-foot player. He's a centerman. Little things that they're not going to have to teach him. He understands width and depth on a forecheck if he's an F2. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's something they're not going to have to waste time teaching. He handles poor passes really easily, pulls pucks out of his feet. He's got a real accurate shot. Like Murph said before, he values possession. He just doesn't give it up. If he comes up and doesn't see something, he can give a soft chip, and he's got the feet to retrieve it. He's a real smart player. I think he's real high end.
So now we move on to Waterloo has another pick where they took this one with a tender. This is Keith Mcginnis. He's a tall, fluid skater, really athletic. Kid's got really high end upside. He had a lot of teams that were in on this kid, trying to get a tender out of him. Signs with Waterloo. At this point in his game, I wouldn't say he's necessarily offensive or defensive. He's one of those guys that maybe not a standout in any one area, but he's good at everything. I like his mobility, his athleticism. He's got a really good stick, kind of a smothering defensive style. He's not going to go way out of his way to lay the big hit, but he takes away time and space. A really good prospect. There was word that he fell in the Western League draft because he was thinking about the NCAA, so it makes sense, to see him go here. So,
and then Fargo, Max Swanson from Anchorage, Alaska. He's a high energy forward, very balanced, plays through traffic well, real intense, plays hard at both ends. Nice pickup here. He was he at national camp?
Yeah, he was at NTDP camp.
Yep.
And he was at nationals last month. He really surprised people at national camp because he's a little bit undersized. His dad was a great player. So he's got it in the bloodlines. He's smart. And like Murph said, he's really balanced, kind of low center guy, skates through traffic. And Ian and I talked about him after NTDP camp where he was one of the smaller guys in the camp, but against the U17 national team, he was one of the more effective forwards, which you'd actually think the opposite. So
Murphy was in Columbus.
Another guy had a lot of teams on him looking for tenders and whatnot. So Fargo gets a real player here.
All right. Next, we have not a small player, Lucas Fisher. He's 6'2". He's wiry, he's tall, he's thin. I think he's got a ton of upside. Anyone else want to chime in on him?
It's another guy who's at Mass State tournament. He really stood out. He's tall, like Murph said. He's really good defensively. Might be underrated defensively. People are always looking for what he's going to do with the puck. But this is a kid who can shut you down. Went to national camp. Was in the mix for sure. His footwork needs to improve. That's the area of his game. But looking at his height here, height, weight, he's only 151 pounds. So this kid is going to get stronger. He makes a really nice outlet pass. He doesn't mess with it. Gets it, moves it quick. High ceiling. Ian, what do you think of this kid at national camp?
Is that Fisher?
Yep.
I just think he's got a ton of upside. Like Murph said, he's long and he's lanky. He's got room to put meat on his bones. He's strong in front of his net, cleared lanes. I think he keeps it simple. He's a kid. He's got high upside.
He doesn't fuck it up. Period. A hockey player. All right.
Next up for Madison, they take tenders here. Will Felicio is a small defenseman, kind of a puck mover, really mobile defenseman out of Mount St. Charles. This kid, he had a good showing at nationals. We gave him a B+. Like I said, very mobile. He's got to work on some things defensively. He's got some areas he's got to improve, but in terms of pure skating and handling the puck, this is a really talented player. I think as he gets stronger and matures a little bit, learns how to defend, he could be a really nice Division I prospect down the road.
Yeah, he's athletic as heck.
Ed, you've seen this guy quite a bit in the Northeast. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Will Felicio?
Yeah, everything you said, I'd echo. Great feet, moves up the ice well. He's able to beat the forecheck pretty quick and retrieve pucks efficiently. He goes, gets them, and it's right up. It's either, the pass is tape to the wingers, he hits the center, swinging through the middle, or he's, into the neutral zone, moving the puck up the ice. So he doesn't mess around with it a lot in the back end.
Next up, we've got Gino Garcon. It's another kid that was at national at the US NTDP camp. I think he's another guy who gave B+, A- at nationals. He's really strong on his stick, plays the game the right way, stops on pucks. He can score. Definitely, he's got a quick release. He's one of those kids at this age that shoots with his head up. He's not looking down at the puck. He's reading the goalie and trying to put it where he wants. He's also a really smart player. Sometimes, when I talk to scouts about him, a lot of them are, fixated on his physical tools. He's really strong, kind of balanced, but he's smart. He reads the whole game. He can kill penalties at the next level. He can play power play. He was a winger at BK, but I think he could play center as well.
Yeah, no question.
What do you think of him, Murph? You've seen him since he was a Bantam.
Who's this?
Gino Garcon.
Sorry, I lost track. Yeah, I've already moved on to Gavin Kornforth, but I agree with everything. I think that he's the kind of player that has a ton of versatility, and that's, we talk about all the time. Perhaps the biggest factor in players fitting in as they move up in levels is their ability to play in different situations up and down the lineup, and he brings that to the table for sure.
Yeah,
he's a really good player.
This is our first late birth year selected. Next up, Torrey Pittner. Is a tall, really athletic, mobile defenseman out of South Kent Selects. Played with the 15s this year. He's a kid that he's on. He's on the NTDP list, like several of the other kids selected so far. There was word that he potentially could be looking at the Western League. So to see him go in the first round here, my guess is that he's pretty serious about the NCAA. We had him, as right in the mix there at NTDP camp for making the team with his size, with his athleticism, his mobility. Ian, you've seen this kid a lot. You're down to South Kent. What are your thoughts on Pittner?
I like him. I think he plays a heavy game. The game that would stand out to me this year, Murph and I went down when South Kent, he played with the U18s to play against Brunswick. And I thought he had a heck of a game playing against, Brunswick's prep team. He's strong. He doesn't make a mess of things. He keeps things simple, and he moves the puck quickly, and he's got good feet to gap up quickly on turnovers. He follows up closely, and if there's a bad decision in the gray area, he can continue closing, or he can gap up quickly to the middle to make sure that he can buy time for his back checkers. I think he's a smart player, and he's got like you just said, we had heard things about him going to the Western League, but obviously here it looks like NCAA is probably the route.
Where is he from? Because we have him living in Greenwich. Does he not live in Greenwich?
No, he's from LA. He played a year ago. He was playing high school in California. Then he went to South Kent this year.
Yeah.
The training they had there just kind of capitalized on his athleticism. Saw him early in the year. Saw him last summer. Saw him early in the year, and then all the way through to the end.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Well,
Greenwich is a nice town too.
He doesn't live in Greenwich, Murph. He's in Southern California.
But that's just an aside. I think
Stay focused. We've already lost you twice.
Next up, Muskegon Lumberjacks with their first tender. It's funny, I was calling this kid. I just saw this kid yesterday. Last 3 days, he was at the Q Cup up in Laval, Quebec. I was calling him Sasha Boisvert, and it's Boisvert. It was corrected by the French Canadians. This kid was really good at nationals, A- kind of grade. He's tough. He's physical. He can play a two-way game. But what really stood out to me was this last weekend in the Q Cup, which the Quebec 06 group is really strong. I'd actually say it's stronger than the Ontario group this year, which is rare. And he was one of the best kids there. He is. You talked about versatility earlier. This kid can kill penalties. This kid can block shots. He can be the toughest guy on the ice if he needs to be. He can also go wide, cut into the net, and score. He's got a hard shot. This guy just plays the game the right way. He is. He looks like a college hockey player right now. And don't get, from what I'm hearing from the guys up in Quebec, don't get worried. If you're a USHL team and you just took this kid on the tender, that he went to the Q Cup, for Hockey Canada. And this is a kid who, could potentially play World Juniors down the road. He's the real deal. He's got to work on his offensive skills a little bit. He's not a dynamic offensive player at this point, but he's got everything else. Of all the kids selected so far, he might be the top of all of those first 7. Ian, you saw this guy a lot, and Ed, you guys have seen this guy, and he was playing in the Northeast this year. What are your guys' takes on Boisvert?
I'll just say that when he makes body contact, he hits to put somebody in the second row. He's not just rubbing somebody out to have a good time. Like, he comes in, he hits hard, he takes numbers. If somebody goes after him or goes after one of his teammates, Sasha's going after him to get him back. I like him. His footwork, he started out a couple years ago. He was kind of a 10-2 kid, a lot of inside edges. His footwork's getting better. He's got some speed and pace, but man, when he makes body contact, he's looking to put you into the second row.
Yeah, not a ton else to add there that everyone else already, provided input on. But I think, again, always around the net, plays tough, has some touch in tight. So, yeah, Zacho, like everyone else said, going to be hearing about him down the road for a long time.
Next up, we've got Adam Kleber. Kleber, I think I always pronounce that wrong. This kid out of Chaska High School, 6'1", 168. He was at National Development Camp. Adam's a player that went into the year probably as, I wouldn't say a lock. No one's ever a lock for NTDP, but you would have thought for sure. He had a really good high school season. He gets a little overshadowed because he played with on that Chaska team with potential first-round NHL pick. Can't think of the name right now. Big defenseman. But Kleber's a real deal. He's got to improve his feet. He was a little clumsy at times at NTDP camp. When the pace is on him, when the forecheck's on him hard, he does rush decisions at times. But from a defensive standpoint, his stick positioning, his body positioning, the way he can read a rush, this is a really talented kid. Yeah. This is a guy that in a year from now, NTDP might be saying, geez, how do we not get our hands on this kid?
I agree with that. He's got to add a little mean to his game. His stride, I love his stride, and that's going to lead to even more speed, more mobility down the road as he continues to get stronger. Let's not forget these kids are young, and they're not fully developed, but his technical aspect of his stride is going to allow him to improve.
Next up for Dubuque with the 12th overall pick, they took Gavin Korn 4th. He is a late 2006 out of Thayer Academy, which is in Massachusetts. Ed, you saw this kid at the Christmas tournaments. What were your thoughts on Korn 4th?
Yeah, saw him all year. Saw him at the Christmas tournaments, and then saw him at NTDP camp. High-end skill set. Kid flies, effortless skating, has great hands, makes plays quick. Sometimes I think holds the puck a little bit too long. But again, high-end skill here from Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin's one of those kind of I don't know the term I'd use, but when he's on, he's really on. I mean, when he's making that first day of NTDP camp, I was surrounded by a lot of USHL guys going, who is this kid? And he played against prep school players. He played against older, stronger players. He played for former NHLer Tony Amonte. So he's dealt with tough coaching. But he's up and down. Some days he's unbelievable. Then the next day he's kind of – so he's got, like a lot of these kids, younger players – he's got to work on the maturity a little bit and consistency. But when he's on, he's as talented as anybody on this board right now.
Ian?
Yeah, his skills are phenomenal. You He can look guys off. He handles pucks cleanly. He's a real possession guy. You forget that he's a December 06, so some of these kids he's almost a year younger than. But he is. Yep. He can skate. He's strong. He's got a great glide. He's fast. Coming up in one-on-one situations, he can make defenders miss. He can curl back with his skating and find the late guy. He's got a ton of poise with the puck. Skill-wise, it's hard to find a kid one-on-one that is better than him. He can make a lot happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't have blinked if someone had taken him 1, 2, or 3.
I was actually shocked he wasn't a tender. I thought for sure somebody was going to try to tender. Maybe they did, but I thought he was a prime example.
I think he just needs a little time and a little bit, again, maturity to his game, but his skill set is unmatched, virtually unmatched in this group. We have him high. We have him 22 here. So I think we felt the same way. Okay, moving on. Sorry, Brendan.
No, you're fine. Next up, Sioux City Musketeers will pick number 13th overall. They take Drake Murray, big physical defenseman out of Shattuck St. Mary's, another guy who played up with the 16s. Sir, if you just saw him at Nationals less than a month ago, I think you gave him, would you give him an A- grade, I believe?
Gave an A.
Murray.
Gave an A. I think he was Shattuck's best player for the week and arguably one of the best defensemen of the entire tournament, I thought. He doesn't let anything happen around him. I think he plays a lot bigger than his size. He uses his stick well, keeps guys to the outside. It's impossible to get a puck anywhere through him if you're trying to pass on a rush. Retrieves pucks pretty quickly. He's not the most nimble skater, but he can create some separation on his own, and he's got a real powerful stride when he's out in open ice. He can lead a rush. He snaps breakout passes very accurately. He can feather pucks through traffic, and just an all-around defenseman that brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, for sure. That's spot on. Murray, for me, I saw him, last year a bunch, but started off this year at the Minnesota Blades tournament, and he was excellent. Really strong, tough to play against. All the things you said. At national camp, I will say, he's a kid I would have placed on the national team. I think most of our scouts would have. He wasn't at his best at national camp. We gave him a B, but he's an A-, B+ player, so underperformed there. But other than that, every other viewing, which had probably had 10 or 15 viewings, like you said, sir, this is one of the best kids in the country. He doesn't have the flair offensively that maybe some of these other guys have, but from a defensive standpoint, other than maybe E.J. Emery, I don't know if there's a better defenseman in the country than Drake Murray. Ian, what were your thoughts of him at national camp?
Kind of agree with what you said. He underperformed from what I expected from seeing him historically. I know early in the first game he crashed from the boards and it looked like he hurt his leg. I don't know if he hurt his knee or whatever, if that kind of hindered his mobility. But he's a kid that I was shocked isn't on the national team. Going into it, I thought he would be a given. I think he's smart. I think he plays big boy D hockey where he moves the puck. He doesn't get caught trying to do all the ridiculous stuff. Stays out of trouble. I thought at nationals, like Serb said, I thought he was very, very good. I thought he controlled the pace of the game a lot of times. He would retrieve pucks while taking over his shoulders. And he has the skating ability. He might not be a burner straight ahead, but he can pick pucks off the wall and get the net to create transition pretty quickly. So I'm a fan of him. I've been a fan since the first time I saw him skate a couple years ago. I think he's a heck of a D-man.
In New Hampshire.
Yep.
Right before COVID.
No, it was after COVID. After COVID.
After? During?
After.
Yeah, he's an impressive.
I was on a diet. I just had to come off the diet and kill a meatball sub from that place, and it was just downhill from there.
The place is good, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we got some tenders, I think, to go through, Brendan.
Next up with Chicago, we've got Macklin Celebrini. Macklin Celebrini at this point, again, it's early. He's our only 5-star player in the 2006 birth year. There's a couple of kids that are going to compete for that in Western Canada. There's 1 or 2 kids who just saw from Quebec that are in that range and are on our U.S. list.
Drake Murray could end up being a 5.
Yep. Some of the, like Hagens was close.
Yep, Hagens.
Logan Hensler is our highest ranked U.S., but none of them are quite 5s yet. Celebrini's a 5. This kid does it all. There's nothing this kid 5-on-3 at U18 level. He's the first guy on the ice. Power plays, first guy on the ice. You want him on the ice at the end of a game to, when you're defending a lead and to get a lead. He's as complete a player at this age that I've seen on the U.S. side, even though I know he's Canadian, but he's been playing in the U.S. the last 2 years. I've seen in the U.S. side in quite a while. He stepped right up into the U18s as prep, which is very hard to do at Shattuck St. Mary's. Very few players have done it. Oliver Wallstrom, some big names.
Led the team in scoring, didn't he?
Led the team in scoring, led him in points. This kid's a big time player.
So in Nationals, in the semis, he got hurt. Third or fourth shift of the game, and from that point on, Shattuck didn't recover. That was the loss that they had. So
yeah. I mean, he's the kind of player that if his team's in trouble, he plays a 200-foot game. He plays an unselfish game. He's not overly flashy. He's just superb. But if his team needs a play, he'll go out and he'll just make the play. He'll make it happen. He knows how to win games and what he needs to do to help his team win. That's really rare at this age. He's exceptional in that way. Again, you see a lot of kids try to dangle around everybody. He doesn't do that. He distributes. He plays fast. He's physical. I mean, we can go on all day, and I don't think we want to do that. But the fact that he's our only 5 in this age group, I mean, fives are we don't handle a lot of 5s though.
And Murph, to add to that, he's tough. He plays through contact. I saw him out at the Elite League this fall, and obviously playing up against kids 3 years older, and he plays through contact. Sometimes these high-end kids, that are younger or on the perimeter, not on the perimeter. He's around the net. He'll take hits. He's making plays, taking hits. So, just as Brennan said, he does everything, and he's just a tough kid with a bright future ahead.
Yeah, he reminds me in a sense of when Shane Wright was that age, and you'd say there's not a flaw that you could point at.
Yep.
And Celebrini in the same boat. There's not one thing you could say with Celebrini at this age that you say, oh, that's a hole. Obviously, he's got to improve a lot. He's got a long way to go, but there's not an obvious hole with this kid.
No, that's a great, exceptional 06 group at Shattuck. It doesn't take long if you're paying attention to go, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Next up, Tri-City with also tendered. This is the last pick in the first round. They did their tenders kind of back to back. I don't know which one they're considering their first round, which one they're considering their second round. We're going to go with Matt Virgilio, just for sake of conversation. We'll do the next one with their next pick. Matt Virgilio, another kid who played prep as a younger player. He's really stout, sturdy defenseman. He's tough to get around. He's got excellent edge control, meaning he can move laterally as well as he moves forward and backwards. He defended against big power forwards. He also could keep up, shadow, speedy, skilled forwards. They like him a lot. I know St. Andrews thinks he's the real deal, and that's a program that's generated a lot of NHL talent. He is the youngest player on the team, I believe. Yeah, he's the only 2006 on that team this year. He was highly sought after in the OHL draft. He's been pretty consistent that he wants to go the NCAA route. He's got a verbal commitment to Michigan. So if they get him at Tri-City and he reports, this is a really nice pick here. There's no way, put it this way, if he was in the regular draft portal, there's no way he lasts at number 15. So a tender was a smart move here by Tri-City. Ian, you saw this guy at the St. Seb's tournament. What do you think of Virgilio?
I saw him a handful of times this year. I saw him at Mount St. Charles from one of the PHC tournaments. As a young kid, I thought that he controlled the pace of the game. He was really confident using his partner. He was confident in front of the net. He's got some jam. He's not afraid to talk crap, which I liked. He plays with a lot of poise, a lot of confidence. And we saw him, Ed and I, or maybe it was Deuce and I saw him up at Salem, another PHC event where I thought he played well. They ended up leaving a little bit early because there was something going on with COVID, but he's another kid that, it didn't matter what he was doing. I just thought he has a lot of poise, played on their top pairing, very confident, snaps his passes really hard. Watching him play as a defenseman, it was tough to believe he was in 06 and he could control the pace the way he did.
Next up, now we're heading into the second round. With the first pick, Des Moines Buccaneers select Theo Kiss. This is a small, highly skilled player out of Slovakia. Played at Mount St. Charles this year on the 15s. We gave him a really high grade at the Nationals. We gave him like an A-. Really like his puck handling ability, his vision, creates plays out of nothing, and very creative. Ian, you saw him a game or two at Nationals, and you follow that Mount program pretty.
Yeah, I mean, he's a highly competitive kid. He's got a ton of personality on and off the ice. He's not afraid to yap. He's very quick. He's got a good touch. What I like about him is he's not afraid to head into traffic to receive a pass. You know, there's guys that head into traffic and their arms get short. Kisses don't. Kiss gets in there. He receives the pass with the intention of having a scoring opportunity or giving a puck back to his teammate. Again, he's got a ton of personality on and off the ice. He's a really, I know this is ridiculous, but he's a likable kid. And then you watch him yap on the ice and you can see why the guys in their team are pissed off at him. He's got really good feet. He's quick. He's competitive. It's a good pick here.
Great insight, Ian. That's great. Next up for Muskegon, they take a local kid here, Teddy Spitznagel. It says on here he's a New York kid. He played for Honeybake this year. That's why I said local. They have him listed here at 5'7", 139, but he's not that. He's much bigger than that. He was at national camp. He's a real goal scorer. This kid can find the back of the net. He's got a heavy release. He gets opening spots around the net. He calls for the puck. I thought at Michigan State tournament that he was one of the best players. I think we gave him an A- grade. His feet are where his struggles are right now. That's what held him back at NTDP camp, pretty noticeably actually. So he's got quite a bit of work there, both kind of the stride mechanics and first step quickness. But in terms of hockey IQ and in terms of being a goal scorer, and in this league, the USHL is very defensive. They want goal scorers. He's one of the better goal scorers in this age group in the country.
Yeah, Teddy, listen, hockey IQ is very, very hard for players to learn. And you have it, man. Your feet you can improve upon. You'll get there. I really like his game a lot. Moving on.
Next up for Green Bay, this is like we just talked about. They took Nelson last year. They got kind of a steal out of the state of Minnesota. They probably just got their next steal. Will Zellers out of Shattuck St. Mary's 15s. This is a guy who started out the year with Shattuck. Again, you've seen a couple of kids, Aiden Park and Drake Murray, that have gone off the 16 team. You've seen a couple of the 15s have gone NTDP. When it's all said and done, this kid could be right there with all those guys. He was the best player at the Minnesota top 54 camp. And that's saying a lot because there are some really good players there. He's got really good first step quickness. He can separate in a very tight space, and he's got as good of a release. And I mean, not just coming down the slot and ripping a puck. I mean, one-timers on the power play, shooting it hard off the edge. He can collect, kind of crappy passes and zip it quick. Really, really dynamic goal scorer with a lot of pace. He's got to get bigger. He's at 5'9", 148. He's not ready to play in the league right now, but he can be a first line.
He's got a hand on one of those things like Peter Brady. Remember?
That's right.
Yeah, and then he'll get longer. He thinks at a very high level too. Pucks find him. Smart player. Anybody else anything on him? He also values possession, which again I value. So good pick.
Next up for Waterloo Blackhawks, they take Kiernan Poulin, small puck moving, another high IQ defenseman. Ian, you like this kid a lot. I remember before national camp, I didn't really know this kid until national camp, but you had him pegged the whole way. Tell us what you like about Poulin.
He's high energy D-man. He can create from the back end. He's got great feet. One of Murph's favorite things, he's got great edges. He can make a tight turn and escape, and he's got a really powerful cross under to create space between himself and the forechecker. I thought out at national camp in the first game, I thought he was trying to step outside himself. Looked like he was trying to be a physical presence. That really isn't his game. He defends with his footwork and stays in front of the guy to take away time and space. And then in the second game, when we played against the 17s, I thought he was phenomenal. I thought he played really, really well. Arguably, if not the top two D-men in that game against the 17s. He's got good offensive skills. When he does break down a forecheck and he's carrying the puck, he doesn't just stay wide. He attacks the middle and looks to dish. Smart player. His dad's a coach, so he's playing for a coach. He's played for a coach the whole time. Exceptional feet. I think he's going to end up a lot bigger than people expect. He might be a little undersized now, but in a couple of years, you could be looking at a kid who's about 6 feet, 6'1". So,
yeah, his feet are exceptional. Ed, you know him. Anything?
Ed had to jump off Murph.
Yeah, Ian, good call on that with day 2. I forgot about that. Poulin day 2, you're right, against the 17.
Oh, he's awesome.
He was unbelievable. He gapped up. He was really aggressive against bigger players, which again, you kind of think the opposite. His best game was against the best players. So that's worth note. And
he trusts his feet and he closes gaps. And his what he wants to do, and Ian, I think, just said he wants to make a play and just boom, just start transition right away with a quick bump, quick pass. He doesn't dust it off. He doesn't need the dust buster, man. He's a talented kid. Moves pucks quickly, doesn't dust it off. Boom, right up the ice. All right, sorry.
Next up at 20th pick, Youngstown selects Grant Young out of Windy City Storm. He's actually a Colorado kid. Played with Windy City this year. They had a really good squad. He was invited to national camp. You're seeing a lot of shooters coming off the board here in the second round. That's what this kid is. He's a power shooter. He's got tremendous balance. I'm surprised it says 140. He plays a lot bigger than that. He was a B at national camp or NTDP camp. We thought he was right in the mix. And then at USA Hockey Nationals, he was like a B plus, A minus. He's smooth. He's got some power. He's got some skill, a nice combination there. I think he thinks the game at a pretty good level. And like I said, he's a finisher. Ian, what do you think of him at NTDP camp?
I thought it was his explosiveness in transition set him apart from everybody else. He had anticipation and he didn't wait one way or another. If there was a turnover to offense or a turnover to defense, he didn't hang out just to see what happened. His feet were moving. If it was on the defensive side of the puck, he was back checking through the middle to create turnovers. And offensively, he understood as the weak side winger to take off and be a push the pace guy through the middle to pull the opposing defenseman back to create that underneath space for the activating defenseman. I thought he was really good at national camp. You and I kept talking about it. I kept saying every day, man, Young's getting better. Young's getting better. Young's getting better. I thought his explosiveness was great.
Next up for Waterloo at pick number 21, they take Callum Hughes. It says here Long Island Goals, but he played with Mount St. Charles. Yeah, it was good. Really nice two-way player. He was excellent at NTDP camp. I've seen a little bit in the past. I don't know him as well. Ian can talk more about his overall game, but I loved him at NTDP camp. I thought he made a real good case to make that team. 200-foot player, strong on the puck, two-way guy, and he was good at nationals. He wasn't as good at nationals, but he was still, in a B plus for us. We have him as a 4-star, 4.25, talented two-way player. Ian, what are your thoughts on Hughes? You've seen a lot of
so when he first got to Mount, I think it took him a little bit to settle in. I saw him, probably play a handful of times where I always thought he was good, but wasn't, jumping off the ice for me. And then went down to regionals in Connecticut, and I thought he was exceptional. I thought he was just a gamer. He was finishing checks. He was blocking shots. He was drawing penalties. He was physical. And I thought from that point on, right through national camp, I thought he was very, very good. Full 200-foot player, like you said. He's a real hockey player. He's not going to get away with all the frilly crap. He plays real hockey. To me, he was very, very impressive down the stretch from Mount.
I saw him play over the summer this year before he headed out to Mount. And I mean, I just want to echo everything you guys have been saying. He plays everywhere around the ice. He's a multi-situational guy. He's got pretty good hands around the net. Defensively, he was batting down passes, deflecting everything, and kind of was difficult to play with or play against, and just had a real solid showing.
Next up, we've got this is one of my favorite players in the draft. Took a lot of calls on this kid over the last weekend. Madison selects Riker Lee. He's a late birth year. Yes, he's 5'4", 110. He's really small, but in terms of IQ and playmaking ability, again, this is one of the top kids in the country. I was a little surprised he wasn't at national camp, but I do get it. You'd be asking a lot for a kid that size to play in the USHL next year. Probably needs another year, maybe one after that. But boy, national camp or at the USA Nationals U15s, He was an A. He was, to me, the most dynamic forward in the whole tournament. His brain is outstanding. He's one of the guys, he knows where the puck's going before it comes to him. He's thinking 1 or 2 steps ahead of everybody else, and he's got the quickness and the skill to make any play he wants. Obviously, he's got to get bigger, no question. But I really like this pick for Madison. And if they're patient with this kid, he could be really good for them in a couple of years.
Yeah, his hands are soft. Again, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's clever around the net. He makes his teammates better.
With the 23rd pick, Waterloo takes Euro Butella, 6'3" winger out of Chicago Mission. This is a guy who's really come on this year. Beginning of the year, put him as good, kind of a 3.5 range kid. Middle of the year, bumps up to a 3.75, and ends the year like in that 4 range. He is tough, physical. He's got a really nice stride for how big he is. And he's another kid. He's an AA minus at Nationals. They won. Chicago Mission won the 15s, and he was a big part of it. He was drafted in the OHL. We'll see where he ends up if he's an OHL or an NCAA kid, but he's a ball player.
He can help a team win if he doesn't score. He's one of those kinds of players. He clogs lanes. He gets in the way. He disrupts. So he doesn't need to go out and get 1-on-1 or 1-and-2 to help his team win. He can. It's great when he does, and he does it. And he will do it down the road. But he can help his team win just by going out and giving them great shifts and blocking shots and creating turnovers. So.
Next up, we've got Finn Mclaughlin. This is a guy really high on our Canadian list. He plays for Windy City Storm, but he's an Alberta kid. He's an undersized, really smooth, really skilled defenseman. Love his vision. He was, the kid, Cole Longacre, is the one that got invited to NTDP camp. Obviously, this kid's Canadian, so he couldn't. But you can make a pretty easy argument. McLaughlin's the best defenseman on that team, on a really talented team. Runs the power play. He's got great hands. Sees the ice really well. He makes quick decisions. His breakout, he's a one-man breakout when he wants to be. He's, again, at the Select Nationals 15s, he was one of our highest-rated guys there. I think that's a great pick in the second round for Youngstown. If he can go the NCAA route, that's a steal. He's a first-round talent for sure. I think we have him as a 4.25 star. Next up, Muskegon with a tender. I'll throw this one to Ian and Murph. This is Owen Keith. He's the son of Northeastern head coach. Kind of plays like a coach's son. Big, tall, athletic kid. You guys have seen a ton of this guy. Let us know your thoughts on Keith.
Murph?
Yeah, he's one of those players that has slowly gotten better over the last few years. He's very strong on his skates. His gaps are good. He's physical when he defends, but he also involves his stick. He doesn't just hit and not wrap up. He uses his stick to find pucks. He can crank it. He's added a little bit more wiggle to his game and the ability to make people miss for the last, say, year and a half or so, and played Mass High School this year. And you could see that as his team used him up front some when they needed a goal. He was one of our 10 Mr. Mass NZ hockey finalists, and we'll see who wins next week. But he's a player that will just continue to slowly get better, and I think that's a good way to be. Ian, go ahead. Back to you.
Yeah, I think he's continuing to grow, so he's probably close to 6'1" right now. He's actually a kid I thought playing in Mass High School helped him because it gave him a little bit more time with the puck so he could make some plays rather than being forced. What I'll think about was last year when we had the PHL, the Pandemic League last spring. He was one of the few 06s that got voted into play. First week or so, he looked like he was kind of overwhelmed. And if you remember, Montgomery came from the London Knights to come down. He ended up being partners with Montgomery. And he just kind of settled into himself. And from that point on, I think he was done really well. I thought with the U16 Eagles at Nationals, he was on the power play, moved the puck. I thought the first game there, he had just found out that he didn't make the national team, so there was some disappointment. I think he kind of got out of himself and tried to do some things that he shouldn't be doing puck-wise. It looked like he was trying to show off maybe or prove that he should have made it. He settled down in the rest of that tournament. I thought he played very well for the Eagles, and he was playing U16. He's a smart kid, and Brendan, you said you can tell that he's a coach's kid by how he thinks it, and he is incredibly vocal on the ice. Little tip: if you hear him going yat, that means that he's as confident as hell and he wants the puck. When you hear yat, he's ready to go.
Love it. Next up, we've got Carson Clark. Good sized defenseman. Played for Blake High School this year. Played up against older competition. Liked him in the fall when he played with the Minnesota Blades. He was at the USHL showcase. I didn't see him, or at least I don't have notes on. I was just looking up my notes from the Minnesota tournament. I don't have much on him, but we have him as a 3.5, I think 3.75.
He defends very well. He doesn't get beat one-on-one. Pushes people away from his net. He plays a simple, steady, reliable game, and those types of players are still in fashion. Despite the run on flashy puck movers, this guy will play a solid physical game.
Next up, we've got Colin Frank for Dubuque. This kid's a California kid, played for the Anaheim Junior Ducks, played up a year this year with the U16s. I think he might have started the year at BK BK. I'm just looking up his stats right now. He started the year in BK, then moved over to the Ducks. Sir, was he at U16 Nationals? I don't know if Anaheim made it.
Yeah, they made it. They actually had a really good showing, pretty much off of his shoulders and Ty Henricks. They kind of just drove the team. I think Colin led the team with 4 goals in round robin, and he's a smaller player that's absolutely dynamic with the puck and creates a lot of different things. He can score from anywhere in the offensive zone. Even for a smaller guy, he's got an absolute wire of a shot. He can pop into space, and the second the puck's on his stick, it's off his stick. And like I said, he's a threat from everywhere. He slithers through traffic. He's kind of difficult for defenders to keep in front of. He's got that open ice pace to beat guys wide, or can dance to the middle, get shots off from all different places and different body positions. Just real dangerous with the puck and plays well off the puck as well.
Perfect. Thanks, sir. Next up for Omaha, we've got Karsten Cater, little defenseman out of Warman, Saskatchewan. Spent quite a bit of time in Warman in this fall. Not much going on there, but a lot of hockey, obviously. It's an undersized D. He played up a level in the Sask League, the U18s. Looking at the stat line here, 43 games, 1 goal, 24 assists, 25 points. We didn't have him in our Bantam Western League draft because we didn't do the Western League draft last year. So this is a player we don't have a ton on. Omaha just made some changes in their coaching staff, and their new GM used to be the assistant coach at Harvard University. He was also an NHL scout with the Detroit Red Wings. This guy knows the game. He's got quite a what would you call it? Quite a contact list. Let's put it that way. So this could be a nice deal. Can't really talk intelligently about what this kid is because I haven't seen this player. When I was out at Warman, I was watching the SJ showcase. So this kid's a midget player,
And this is pick 28, by the way, just to keep people updated where we are. We know it's going faster than we're going, but
pick 28.
A couple tenders to talk about here.
Yeah, we'll circle this kid, Cater, and we'll keep an eye on him going forward.
Yep.
Chicago Steel, their next tender. This Michael Haig. There's a lot of talk about this. We just did the OHL draft show 2 days ago. Michael Haig is our 3rd overall pick in the OHL on our board. He's a 4.75. He's as dynamic offensively, other than Mclaughlin Celebrini. He's the next best player on the board. Who knows if he's going to come? He went in the 1st round. I think if you're Chicago, you're probably not thrilled to see him not get drafted by Kitchener. Kitchener took a tender last year. Carson, Robke? Muskegon tendered him, and he ended up going to Kitchener. So Kitchener's very good at recruiting Americans. If Chicago can get this kid, you'd put this kid at this age in the same, maybe a step under Fantilli was at this age. Definitely a step under him, but in that same mold. He's right there with the kid they took first last year, Graydon Slipik. This is a high skill player. So dynamic with the puck. His hands are phenomenal. And if he didn't tender, It'd be interesting to see where he would have went in the USHL draft, but OHL draft. Still a first round pick. And like I said, Kitchener from Chicago. I'm not loving that Kitchener grabbed him. Tri-City, the next pick, 30th overall. This will be the last pick of the second round. They took Trevor Connolly out of Long Island Goals. Ian, you've seen Connolly. I didn't see Connolly. Towards the end of the year, he was out for Long Island Goals. Some off-ice issues. We won't get into that. But he was a kid that was on national camp radar throughout the season and falls here in the second round to Tri-City with a tender pick. Nice tender for them. From a skill perspective, you're getting, he's been compared to Patrick Kane in the U.S. I'm not saying he's Patrick Kane, saying he's been compared that kind of skill set. But Ian, you've seen him a couple times this year. What'd you think?
He's bigger than Kane. If you went back and looked at our notes from about 2 years ago, Marlon talked about a kid that he compared to Madonna, about how he skated, how his jersey flew behind him like it was a cape, and his ability to make plays and make people miss. And that's definitely him. He demands the puck in transition. When he gets it, he's going full speed. He's not shy. He's strong enough to get wide on the D-man and get to the far post, and he's confident enough to attack the middle and make a play and dish wide. He is a really offensively talented kid who can make things happen with or without the puck.
We start here in the third round with Des Moines Buccaneers. They select Nathan Della, Donna, kind of a short, stocky, power forward, if you will. I know he's only 5'10", but plays that power game. He's got a great shot. Really can rip it. He had a B+ at nationals. He had a B+ at national camp last summer. So he's just kind of a consistent, hard worker, tough player. He likes to engage physically. He needs another step. He's a little bit stiff, and he needs to get a step quicker. But from an offensive standpoint, when the puck's below the dots, he's going to win the battle. He's going to get to the net, and he can finish.
He's very strong on the puck. Very, very strong on the puck.
Yeah, he uses his points, spreads out defenses. I think he reads them pretty well, and he's a pain in the butt to play against. He's a PETA, pain in the ass. So, next
up, pick number 32, Sioux Falls takes John Mcnellis. Kind of surprised to see him fall this late. This is a kid for Little Caesars. He played with Austin Baker, who's on the national team. Lucas Van Vliet, who made the national team. And you can make the argument, and I think a lot of people would in Michigan, that he's right there with him and might be better than one or both of them. Really skilled with the puck. He's got exceptional puck handling ability. He's a guy Ian always talks about at the next level. You got to be able to catch bad passes. You got to be able to catch a pass with your head up in stride. That's what this kid can do. He can stick handle around guys. He's got a great release. He's got a kind of a scorer's mentality. He's not very big, and I wouldn't say he's explosive. So maybe that's what's holding him down here to the third round. But he's another guy you could put in that first round talent that falls here. So really nice value pick for Sioux Falls.
Anybody else? I from what I've seen recently, I think he's trending as well, which is important. I think he's been getting better, and he makes a lot of plays.
Next up, we've got Green Bay Gamblers take Andrew O'Sullivan. This is a right shot D, 5'9", 160 out of the Boston Advantage.
Yeah. So he's been partnered with Kieran Poole in the last couple of years. He actually grew up in Southern California playing for the Junior Ducks. Murph, you guys would probably remember, and BU people remember Chris O'Sullivan. He's Chris O'Sullivan's nephew. Remember how Chris O'Sullivan was kind of an inside edge skater, but really quick laterally. Andrew's the same way. He is really smart two-way D-man. I would describe him as the kid that you would allow to let Kieran Poulin do his thing. He's smart enough to stay back. He plays a tight gap. He recognizes odd man rushes. He shuts them down, plays them really well. He can recognize who's on their forehand, backhand, who's got a one-timer. He keeps his stick in lanes. He's heading to KUA next year, which is a great spot for him. I think Coach Whitehead will be unbelievable for him to get in that environment and train the way those kids train up there. To me, this is a great pick right here. He's a kid that is probably under the radar. I know he was in the mix to head to national camp. Didn't get the invite. He's a really smart player, and you guys know that to me, the brain's the most important thing.
As you said in one of your random thoughts that everybody loves to read, smart, heady, two-way defender who has the brains to play final minutes in a one-goal game.
That's some good writing there, Dickie Dunn.
He only wrote like one sentence, but I mean, still.
Just a thought, Murph. Just a thought.
It's just a thought, man. Them random thoughts.
Next up, pick number 34, Omaha takes Ben Miller. Big kid from Woodbury. He was on that Bantam team with Logan Hensler. That was a dynamic team. He's now moved on to the high school level this year, played for Hill Murray, made a nice run in the state championship. This is kind of low for him, 34. He wasn't his best at NTDP camp, so maybe that's what maybe hurt his draft stock a little bit. His skating needs to get there. He needs to play with a little bit more edge. But there were days at that camp where he was very effective when he's driving the net, playing up the middle. He can also go wide on defenders. He's got decent speed once his feet are under him. That's improved that acceleration. But I liked him a lot in high school. If you watch what he did in high school, this guy who could play right away as an 06, made a contribution on a really talented Hill Murray team. So he can play against older players. There's some guys drafted above him might be a little more skilled, but they're playing age-specific hockey, and it's a question mark at this point what they can do against older guys. He's a proven commodity at that level. NTDP camp invite to get him at 34 here, even though he's a bit of a project. This is nice value here for Omaha. Yeah. Muskegon Lumberjacks at number 35 take Yun-Hoo Chung, 6 foot right shot defenseman out of the LA Junior Kings. Or if you just saw this guy at the combine.
I like him. He's efficient. He doesn't put up some good points at the combine. He didn't. He sort of took care of his own end. He made quick outlet passes. He gapped up in the neutral zone. He was able to move along the offensive blue line quickly. Looked really athletic to me. I think he's got to round out some of his skating a little bit, but that should come. But I think it's a good pick. It's an interesting pick. He's quick, and again he gaps up, and his passes are almost always on the tape. So he's just sort of this. He can put up points. He can contribute on the power play. When I saw him last week, he played more of a measured game, which I liked as well, and he did very well.
Next up at 36, Youngstown selects Andrew Della Salla, tall, thin, athletic forward out of Brunswick School. Had a really nice year last year at prep school, again, playing against older players. Ian and Murph, I know you guys really like this kid. What are your thoughts on Della Salla?
Incredibly smooth. He's smart, talented offensively. I think he scored, Murph, right in his first shift in prep hockey this year at the Belmont Hill Jamboree.
Yeah, I was like, for the love of God, who is that kid? Against a Belmont Hill team that was very, very good. But yeah,
he's smart. He's smooth. He's got to get stronger. As with some of these kids that have been real skill kids growing up, he's going to add a little bit of jam to himself as he gains strength. I would expect him next year in prep hockey to just have a ridiculous season with helpers. He's got really good vision, sees it well. Can find the near guy and the far guy. He's he's a kid growing up. He played forward and D, so he sees the game really well, and he can think about what's going on from the back end and the front.
Yeah, he's got a high. I think he's got a really high ceiling. Really high ceiling.
Next up for Madison at pick number 37, they take Charlie Michaud. He's out of Denver, Colorado. So I talked to his coach, Deskins, who is with Youngstown. I guess this kid played defense for a lot of his career, played forward for a lot of his career, and then moved back to defense this past year. He was excellent at the 15 Nationals, and he was very good at the Michigan State tournament as well. Strong on his edges. He's got a really nice set of hands. He's strong on pucks. He's one of those guys that really bends his knees and boxes out in front of his own net. So there's some details defensively, and he can run a power play. So you're getting a really versatile player who's played some offense, played some defense. And Madison, as we know, likes to use guys in multiple spots. So this is a guy who, for a third round pick, this is a guy who could play early. So nice
Yeah,
pick on that.
yeah, because he knows how to use his partner. I think Ian knows this guy a little bit too, so I'll leave him some time. But he's two-way guy. He's well-rounded, multi-dimensional game, playing two positions. Parents and everyone watching out there, it oftentimes is a very good thing. Ian?
Who are you talking about? I'm sorry, I was
Charlie Michaud from Little Caesars.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Murph says. He can play both. He thinks to, like I said earlier, it's his brain. His brain to me is what differentiates him from the others. Sorry, I was in the middle of texting there. I got a little distracted.
No, his backward skating is very good. He recovers well. This is a very good pick in my opinion. We have him at like 56, I think, which again these rankings are hard to do, but I think that's about right. And so I think this is a good pick because he's got that versatility. Again, if you've played another position, you learn a lot about how to defend better or how to play offense better. So he's well rounded for sure. I'm going to use the restroom. Excuse me for 1 second.
Next up, we've got Gavin Olkamp from Chanhassen, Minnesota. This is another kid who got an A grade at the Minnesota High Performance Camp. He can snipe. He played alongside Schultz in the games I was watching. Really like his release. Like the way he handles the puck. One of those guys that you'll hear a term a lot in hockey. He can see into the second layer, meaning he sees a play beyond the play. He can look. He can make long range passes through the neutral zone. He sees the puck through traffic. Like he's just smart. Makes a lot of plays. Schultz was kind of the guy. He was an A+ there, but Olkamp did a lot of the work to get him the puck. Just really like his game. He'll fit into the way Cedar Rapids plays. His skill, but he's also got some bite to him as well. Next up, at pick number 39, Fargo selects Jake Marens. Is a late 06. He's a little thin. Needs to grow into his frame a little bit, but in terms of skill, puck handling ability, and passing and his release, this is a high-end player. This is another, like we said earlier, could be a first-round talent. Just got to get a little stronger. They have him listed here at 5'8", 135. He got an A grade at the 15 Nationals. And just he's one of the guys, every time he's got the puck, he's making a play. He's slippery. You lose sight of him, and then he appears. He's a really nice distributor. A lot of kids at this age, they might be able to make a long-range saucer pass, but they struggle with a 5 to 8 foot short sauce. This is the kind of kid who's masterful at that, and it really shows it on the power play, where you can get it over a blade, get it to the bump man, get it to the point. Really liked his sense and his puck handling ability. Ian, you saw him a little bit. He wore 13 for Chicago Mission at Nationals. I don't know if you remembered him.
I do a little bit. I just remember that he was slight, but he had the ability to make people miss, and when they did make contact, he went with it. He didn't get totally blown up. He could kind of ride it and stay on his edges to pull off. I only saw that one game though, so I'm not a real good reference point on him.
Yeah. Next up for Chicago. Chicago again seems to be Chicago wants to go toe to toe with these guys up in Canada with the CHL teams, and they're going at another one in Bill Zonin. Just saw this kid last 4 days playing in the Q Cup. We're giving him a 4 or 5 star after what we saw there. I thought he was outstanding. His puck handling ability is high end. He's got a really long wingspan. He's 6'1", 166, so he's got room to grow. His feet need a little bit of work. Played at Northwood this year, and they play a tough schedule. They're playing Mount St. Charles U18s. They're playing St. Andrews. They're playing some of the New England prep schools. So, I saw him at the Christmas tournament, and I liked him, but I didn't love him. But by the end of the year, he was fantastic. And what I just saw this past weekend, this is a kid who's got NHL potential all over him. So in the third round, again, if you can get him to come to Chicago, you're going to be really happy you did. But you're going to have to fight a lot of Q teams for this guy.
So I saw them Northwood play a lot this year, and like you said, he's a kid who got better and better every game. Reviewing at the beginning of the year, he'd have an impact, here or there, maybe once a game. Then it was once a period. And then as the year went on, he was impactful in just about every shift. He had very good visions and can settle hard passes very cleanly and very easily.
Next up, we have Waterloo with pick number 41, takes John Stout. It's a big defenseman, he's really mature. At the Minnesota High Performance, like the first day or two, say first game and a half, kind of a subtle skill. You didn't notice him a ton, but with his style of play, that's not a bad thing. Then he started taking charge in that second half of that second game, and then certainly in the third game, adding some offense, playing with a little more pop physically. But I like his maturity. He's somebody that doesn't have to get really aggressive in a game. He can let the play come to him. He's got a really good defensive stick. He's physical and tough in his own end, and then he can play on the power play. He's got a big shot and can challenge a goalie from the point. So I think Stout as a third-round pick. There's another kid, last summer at the Select 15 camp in Buffalo. This was one of the better defensemen. I think he had a chance with the NTP program, or was in that discussion. So again, at third round, 41 overall for Waterloo, is a nice pick.
You better keep your head up when he's on the ice because he will pop you.
And a Minnetonka guy, Murph, which you
I love Minnetonka because you know who my favorite player is.
Yep.
Should have won the Hobie. Anyways, moving on.
Next up at pick 42, Dubuque takes Julian Brown, 6'4", 200-pound defenseman out of the North Jersey Avalanche. This kid, the beginning of the year at the USHL Showcase, had a lot of noise because he's so big and he moves well. He's pretty physical. Thought he was okay there. I think we gave him a B+, but I'll say at Nationals this year, took a big step forward. He played with more physicality. He's trusting his feet a little more. He's got good zip on his pass, and talked to at least three that I can think of, 3 colleges that were all high-level, top 15 programs that were all asking about this kid, Julian Brown. So Julian Brown's got a really high ceiling. This could be somewhat of a steal to go in the third round. Got to improve the decision-making, a little bit of the pace of play, but a really high-ceiling player.
Yeah, we have him ranked pretty high.
Next up for Youngstown, they go to the state of Minnesota. Landon Stringfellow, really tough physical defenseman, Andover High School. They won the state championship this year, and he contributed in all facets. He's a kid, his Bantam year, he was probably the same size, so he was just so physical and tough to play against. Played on that really strong Andover Bantam team. We had him as an A at the Battle of Blue Ox. And then watching him in the state tournament this year, I only caught 2 of the games, but he looks like a senior on the ice. He plays a really balanced game. He doesn't have a ton of offense. It's probably why he slipped to the third round. But from a defensive standpoint, he's as good as anyone in the draft above him. He's maybe one step below the Drake Murrays, who are first round picks. So this is a really nice get for.
He's going to get better. He can skate too, and I think that the way he creates offense right now, is by getting pucks to the net, and does that well. So, the offense will come with him. He needs defense that defend, and he does that at a very high level. So, quality pick.
Next up, we've got Ryan Rachinski out of that. He's a late 06 out of that Cleveland Barons team. We saw a lot of those kids go in the OHL draft the other day. I think they were a top 5 team in the country all year. I hadn't seen a lot of them, but I really like this kid at Nationals. Gave him an A- ranking. He's got real speed. He plays bigger than he's listed here. They got him listed at 5'6", 125. He's bigger than that. He's got real hustle. Goes hard to the net. He's a kid that can kill penalties and plays power play. He's got a nice brain on him in the sense that he played a lot with that AJ Spilossi, who was also drafted in the OHL and was at NTDP camp. And he was kind of the facilitator on that line. Made a lot of things go. He's got real touch on his passes. And like I said, he's good hockey IQ guy. He's got to get bigger, obviously, and a little stronger, but he's late birth here. He's a December.
Yeah, he's a December. He'll be fine.
And the last pick in the third round, Jack Hamilton to the Omaha Lancers. Jack Hamilton last summer at Select 15s in Buffalo was one of the top 5 defensemen in the country. A lot of talk about this kid. Followed it up with a really nice season at Culver this year. Played with the 16s, played up a level. Went to national camp, didn't end up playing, went home early. So he's fallen a little bit in the draft, I think, because of that. But if we're talking steals already in the third round, Jack Hamilton's, like I said, he's a top 5 defenseman in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to get him here is a steal.
An absolute baller.
Murph, I think this was your number one guy at the. We haven't posted our USHL Combine yet because we've been backed up with our rankings and some draft stuff. But Connor Buick was Murph's favorite guy at the Combine.
He was excellent. He was really, really good. Really, really athletic. He has good size. His first game I watched him, he kind of ran around a lot. He had the puck a lot. He was trying to create plays, but he was able to close quickly on defenders. And then the more I watched him the second game, I realized again what he was doing was keeping people close, trusting his skating. If he made a mistake, to recover. And he made hits at the offensive zone blue, made hits in the neutral zone, and just started transition with either quick passes or by carrying it himself. Scored a few goals. I thought he was superb, and I don't know where he was. I know we moved him up a little bit or a lot up on our list, but before that, I don't really care. I know what I saw, and he was arguably the best player or one of the best players at the Combine. And again, Luke Karate puts together a really good group there. So this kid stood out a ton to me. I really liked his game.
Yeah, it's a good point, Murph. And just to echo off that, I also really like Buick. He's highly, highly mobile. Plays that Team Illinois. A lot of the Mission kids get some hype in that area, or Windy City now. But so he went a little bit under the radar, as Murph alluded to. But that's why the USHL Combine is really good for kids like this. This is the second kid. We're just starting the 4th round. You've already had 2 kids come off the board now out of that camp. So, if there is, I don't know if there is. I don't think there is. I hope there isn't. But if there's a notion that the Combine is for not players, for non-prospects, that's completely wrong. And you're seeing it again this year. We saw it last year as well.
Yes.
Next up for Sioux Falls at 47, Daniel D'Alessandro. We really like this kid at Nationals. He played up with the U16s, that Long Island Gulls team. Really fluid skating defenseman. He's got excellent gaps. He's got a good stick. He's not overly physical at this age, but he can take the puck away from you and take away time and space without playing, chasing the puck around and playing a really physical game.
He's still playing at Del Barton.
Yeah, he had a really strong season for Del Barton. I know they like him a lot down there.
Really athletic kid. He played on the top pairing with the Gulls with Fascia. He was really good in the Nationals. Settles bouncing pucks quickly. I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine being in that area, he's got to play lacrosse with the amount of times you can get a stick on aerial passes and knock him down pretty cleanly. He's to me, he's just a really, really athletic kid.
Yeah, Del Barton is a good place for young athletes to develop whatever sport they're playing. There's just that sort of culture there.
Next up, we've got the Green Bay Gamblers, like Garen Ludwig, out of Team Alaska, 15s. This is the team that went to the Nationals this year. They had a really nice team. You've already seen one kid come off so far, Max Swanson. I think you're going to see more as the draft goes on. Murph calls these kids PETA, pain in the butt players. He's hard on the forecheck, works his tail off. He's got some skill. And one of the things with Ludwig that kind of distinguishes him, and I'd say the same with Swanson, they can make plays at top speed. They don't have to slow down to make a deke move. They don't have to slow down to make a pass or receive a pass. So that kind of pace will translate. He's got to get bigger. He's got to get stronger. But he's a really nice player for that Team Alaska. Brings a compete level. It's excellent.
Honestly, last year when Murph and I went to Columbus, I became Team Alaska's biggest fan. I would set my day on going to watch them play. I loved watching them play. You remember they played St. Louis, Murph, and it was like must-see TV for me. I had to get there to see it. This kid plays his butt off. He was fun to watch.
Yeah, he
controls
really
the play, from the back end. He's one of the he ran their power play. Swanson comes back too, and sometimes he jumps up into the offense. So he's got some versatility in that side of things.
And Alaska's making a real push and doing a lot better, I think, in their development. They add an NAHL team, and I know this is way off topic, but lot of the NAHL players move up to USHL. The Anchorage Wolverines, who I think moved on the second round of the playoffs there. A lot of those kids, I'd say 60 to 70% of that team are kids from Alaska, local kids. So you're going to see more and more kids coming from the state of Alaska. And Ian's right. That was a very good team.
Oh, it was so fun to watch.
And who was the kid? I don't want to say now. I'm really getting off topic. The kid from St. Louis.
He's the best. I went to see him with you, Brendan.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Ian's favorite player in the country. I can't think of his name.
I love him. I can't believe I can't think of his name.
Well,
he has a better beard than me right now.
Yeah.
He's an absolute animal. Just runs people over and keeps on smiling.
Maybe he'll get taken, but he's. I
hope he does.
That old St. Louis team, that 15 group, heavy group, plays direct. We're way off topic.
They killed each other.
Let's move on.
Fourth round, still here in the fourth round, 49th pick overall by Omaha, Elliot Gronwald. This is a Vermont kid, so kudos, Vermont player. We're a Vermont-based business.
We're in Vermont right now.
And we're in Vermont right now. He played for Bishop's College. Bishop's College got a great program up. They're if you've ever heard of Stansted, they're right down the road. It's a Quebec school. We didn't have a lot on this guy earlier in the season.
I saw him a couple of weeks ago at the New England Regionals at the development.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got on the thing, you got an A- grade. And
you couldn't help miss him. He had purple on and stood out. Big, he was strong, moved the puck well. He played a tight gap, and if there was a soft chip on his side as a strong side D-man, he understood when to set a pick so his partner could get it, or he could pivot with pace without crossing over to pick it up and then create space on the breakout. He was very impressive to me at the regionals in Attleboro a couple weeks ago at the development trial, whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
You go to national camp.
Right. Obviously played well enough there, as Ian's saying, to earn a spot at national camp. So
who took him?
Omaha.
Omaha.
Then we got Youngstown Phantoms take Luke Osborne. So here we go. The next four picks are really good players, kids that we have ranked pretty high. Osborne is, we gave him an A at the Michigan State tournament. He was an A- at the Select 15 development camp last summer. Really smart. Yeah, he's undersized, only 5'9", but he's really smart. He's an excellent skater. Really tight gaps. His puck handling is excellent. And somebody who, as you guys were talking, I think it was Ian or Murph was saying, isn't trying to stick handle around guys or make fancy moves. He can pick a puck off the wall like a pro. He makes one step forward and then zips the pass. I'm really surprised that of all the kids so far that have been value picks, to me, this is the best one. You can tell Youngstown's run by Deskins again. I keep mentioning his name. He coaches at Little Caesar, so he sees this kid all the time. And he obviously knew this kid sitting around at the 50th. Yeah. He jumped up and grabbed him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, I was just looking through some of the reports from other people besides us, and every single person notes that he reads plays well, he anticipates well, he's a smart player. That's really important, if not the most important thing.
My guess is just the size. He's listed here as 128 pounds. He's not ready to play in that league right now. Sure,
and he's 15.
But for an upside pick, wow. He's a top 10 defenseman in my book. Top 10, top 15 defenseman in the country. So to get him at 50, it's awesome. Another great value pick here next with Cedar Rapids, Michael Risteau. Plays for Benilde St. Margaret's. Played high school hockey this year. Kid, he actually plays a lot like Brendan McMorrow, who made the national team out of Benilde St. Margaret. 29 points in 28 games. We gave him an A- at the Minnesota High Performance Camp. Strong on the puck. He can make really skilled plays. He's got a good first step. Balanced. As Serp talked about kid earlier, he can play through contact. The only knock I'd give Risteau, and I saw it again at Minnesota High Performance. Game 1, excellent. Game 2, Game 3, excellent. So there's a consistency there, and maybe that's how he fell here. But from a talent standpoint, this is a great get at 51. Madison Capitals at 52 take Jack Lackas. Jack, Las Vegas, Nevada, which is kind of funny because I'd categorize him as kind of a riverboat gambler a little bit. late December 26th, birth year, small but high skill, really smart, and plays that kind of creativity, high pace game. He'll take chances to make plays. At NTDP camp, I thought his size hurt him a little bit. He wasn't his best, but seeing him earlier in the year at a Tier 1 showcase, this kid's so dynamic, and he's one of those guys like instinctual. He almost plays better in a crowd than in open ice because when he's just playing on his instincts, he's great pace and skill to his game. So I like the Jack Lackas pick a lot.
He's 6 days away from being an 07, and he's explosive. So he's going to grow and he's going to be fine.
And an NTDP invite, and that wasn't surprising to us at all because of what he had done during the regular season. So I'd lean more on what I saw in the regular season than what we saw at NTDP camp. Next one, Joey Macrina. Kind of a surprise yesterday. This kid didn't get drafted in the OHL. He's an undersized American player, but I had at least 4 or 5 OHL teams call me about this kid specifically. He's a goal scorer. He's got skill, but he's not one of these. What do you say, Murph? He doesn't force his skill on the.
Players they don't force their skill on the game. They use it when they need it.
That's the kind of kid this kid is. He can score on a catch and shoot type. He was by far the best player on that Valley Forge team. He had to carry a lot of the offense himself. He'd go and get pucks out of the corner. He carried all the way to the net himself and then make a goalie miss. Like I said, he's undersized. I don't think they haven't listed here at 5'4", 3/4 and 128. He's bigger than that. That's probably an older height and weight, but I really like this kid as a goal scorer. Next up, Fargo, 54th overall, takes Louis Wellman out of Providence Academy in Minnesota. So Fargo had, I know Kerry was there, their director of scouting was there at the Minnesota High Performance. So they saw a lot of this kid. It was hosted at Providence Academy. Tall kid, he's big, he's strong, he plays a two-way game, which is what they like in Fargo. And we have him as like a B+, A-. The offense needs a little bit more there for me anyways, but he's a shooter. He's someone that drives the net, plays a physical game, like I said, and really what they're going to like about him is you can put him, he can play bottom 6, he can play top 6. He's hard on pucks, hard on the wall, plays center or wing, one of those guys. So not a surprise there. And Fargo saw a lot of them over the past 2 weekends. Next up, Muskegon at 55 takes Jack Galanick, a left winger out of Shattuck St. Mary's. Ian, this is a kid, I was watching him at Nationals, but I know you'd said you really liked this kid, and the more I watched him, the more I saw it with him. Tell us about him.
So he broke his collarbone last year, came back this season, had a slow start to the year. He's playing center. I think he's probably more of a winger long term. You could tell at Nationals he was starting to grow, like his legs looked long. But he's very good at finding the quiet area in the slot. And he's good at I'm not sure if this is going to make sense, but he can stay light on his feet. So if he opens up for a puck, and it's 6 inches up or back, it's not where it needs to be, not in his wheelhouse. He can slide and still get really good wood on it. I think he ended up finishing third on Shattuck's team in points, and he had a pretty slow start, but he picked it up down the stretch. He played center, like I said, this year for the games that I saw. Probably long term will end up on the wing because he can rip it. He's got a good shot. So
next up at 56, Tri-City Storm take Alex Bales, a left shot defenseman out of Kent School. It's in Connecticut.
Yeah, I saw him play a couple times, or like 4 times. Good feet. He is skilled, moves the puck well, is able to create passing lanes to get pucks up. He's definitely gotten bigger last year or so. He's one of those COVID kids, got stronger and bigger, so he's added a physical element to his game. He doesn't try to do too much in his end. He keeps it pretty simple, but he's mobile. He's very confident, plays smart hockey. His gaps are tight as he trusts his feet. Yeah, he got a. I'm just looking at one other report. He got a B grade at the Avon Old Farms tournament, and for an 06 to get a B grade, that's a very high grade for an 06. And he may not be the last player we hear about from the Kent School. So he's stick is prepared. He cuts off passing lanes. He just does a ton the right way. So
he can rip it too.
What? I'm sorry. What?
You and I talked about the other day, Murph. He can rip it. He's got a really good shot from the point. Doesn't need to wind up. He can just take a step, change the lane, and get it through with just whipping the stick.
Yeah, he's just athletic enough, quick enough, mobile enough. Where he finds ways to get pucks through on the net and just slip pucks up to his forwards and put them in good spots. So this is a nice pick. I like this pick.
Number 57, Dubuque takes Michael Barron, undersized centerman out of Detroit Victory Honda. He was their best player for sure on that team. That Victory Honda team this year wasn't very strong. He's small, but he's really smart. He's quick. He's somebody that can go into the corner, and in 2 steps he's in front of the net. Good on draws. He played center for them. Really quick hands on the draw. He kind of ran their power play. He was either the bump guy. Sometimes he played the flank. He's got a quick release. So nice pick here for Dubuque. Getting a real skill guy. He's got to get bigger, obviously, but
you know him, right?
Yeah, I think Brendan just said it though. He's a skilled kid. Obviously, they need to get bigger and stronger, but this is a great pickup right here because when he grows and grows into his brain, he's going to be a player.
Really, I really like him. He does everything for Victory Honda, and is a marked man every game. He's the player the other teams say we have to stop him. I think he's number 4. So continuing.
Yeah, and Kelly brings in. Tomorrow they have their Phase 2 draft. He's got a history for taking in a lot of Swedes, so you're going to need some smart players around him. And this is one of those kind of guys. Sioux City at number 58 overall takes Caden Kelly. This kid out of Mississauga Senators who won the OHL Cup. This guy played on a really loaded team. The number 1 overall pick in the OHL draft, the number 2 overall pick in the OHL draft, both off of this team. This kid can rip it. He's got a really nice release. He was a little bit understated on that team because it was such a talented group, but he's balanced for a guy who's not overly big. He can score. He had almost 2 points a game this season with that Mississauga team. He's pretty quick. He could get maybe a step quicker if you want to be critical, but again, in a 4th round to get a kid of that caliber, played on a winning team, that's a really nice pick. We had him pretty high on our OHL draft board. He fell. Didn't quite know why. It was one of the questions we had after the draft. And seeing him go in the 4th round here would tell me this is probably an NCAA kid or has made some echoes to that effect.
There's rumors about him ending up at a prep school next year. That was that's why he fell.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Ian.
Yep.
Sioux Falls Stampede take Jason Davenport, right shot defenseman out of Detroit Little Caesars. It's another guy, really liked him at the Michigan State tournament. Followed that up with a strong performance at the Nationals. And he's kind of understated as a defenseman. He's not overly offensive. He's not overly physical, but he's kind of a Swiss Army knife type, play in every situation, kind of a second pair power play, penalty killer. I liked his footwork, and he's somebody that at this age that challenges on his gaps. He steps up and plays guys tight. Doesn't just let guys enter the zones easily and doesn't just back into his goalie. So I like Jason Davenport. I think he's a player who will translate. Next up for the Chicago Steel, take Owen Tylick, about 5'10", 150-pound forward out of Buffalo Selects. Buffalo Junior Sabres. I don't know if you guys saw this guy much this year.
He's a 200-foot kid. He plays the middle, makes a lot of small passes to open up space for his teammates, goes to the net, stops on pucks. He's not overwhelming as far as his skill set, but he's a late 06 and seems to understand that doesn't have to be big or flashy to make things work over the course of a game. So he's a player that if he can grow a little bit, and he can chip in, up and down the roster. So, he did get a pretty good grade, I think a B grade in the New York State tournament. So.
Thank you, Murph. Next up, Lincoln Stars select Ethan Weber, a 5'11" right shot defenseman of the LA Junior Kings. Just pulling up some notes here from Nationals. I just saw this kid. I think we had him as a B plus. Nope, sorry, my bad. We had him as a B plus, A minus. He's got a heavy shot, tall, long, fluid skater. Hits well against the rush. Good gap control. Handles the puck well under pressure. Crisp outlet passes on the breakout. He's a late 06.
Yeah.
Long and projects well. That was our notes from Nationals. He wore number 86.
Yeah, it's a little under the radar. Makes long cross-ice passes, forces defense into switches.
Okay, next up, number 62. Sioux Falls selects Ashton Schultz. This kid out of Victoria, Minnesota. Really like this kid at the high performance. It's another Minnetonka kid. So Murphy would love him with his blue helmet, blue pants. Got unbelievable speed. He can separate at any point in the ice. It's also a late birth year, so they'll get him for an extra year in all likelihood. Quick release. He's someone that can kind of surprise goalies. He's one of those forwards that makes those little toe pulls or little pull outs or pushes before he releases it to kind of trick the goalie. But everything he does is at full speed. High paced player, really creative. Love his skills. He does overexpose it a little bit. He's one of these guys that tries to do too much, pushes the envelope, turns pucks over. I get it. And at this level on the USHL, they don't like that. But I don't mind it at this age, and I think he's a special player. Next up at 63, Green Bay selects Thomas Pendergast, Colorado Thunderbirds. He was definitely their top player. We liked him at the USHL Showcase.
Yeah,
and we gave him an A minus.
Ed saw him too recently at the Elite Prospects invite, and Ed reviewed all 42 players there, and I'll just kind of look at what he had to say. Strong first step, separate from defenders, scored a goal and assist in the 3 games. Good job of getting to speed through the neutral zone. Attacks directly on the line rush, cuts laterally, fighting open ice. Made some plays in transition, hard worker, and competed on the back check and in his end. So that's very recently.
He's got really smooth hands. From USHL Showcase, just reading through my notes here, wheels out of the corners, utilizes his point man, smooth hands, catches hard passes. So a real skill guy there for Green Bay. Next up at number 64 overall, Waterloo selects JJ Monterio, sorry, Ian. 5'11", 175 out of Mount St. Charles. Ian, tell us about JJ.
So last year, he's another kid, broke his collarbone, but he broke it 3 times. So he had to be really patient with training. He's got legitimate leadership qualities. There's no doubt about it. So in my mind, he's a kid that will end up being a captain in the USHL, and in college he'll probably be, 15, 20 goal scorer in the USHL, and then translate that into a college career. This honestly, as far as leadership goes, he's got as high a marks as any of the kids that's ever skated with me. He gets it. He brings it. He holds kids accountable. He holds himself accountable. I think this is a great pick here. This is going to be something they're going to be happy with.
Thank you, Ian. That insight. Next up, Chicago again. We're seeing a trend here in Chicago where they seem to be going all Canadian. They take Matthew Butler here, kid out of St. John's, Newfoundland. Played for the Pinnacle Growlers. A little bit under the radar, but just saw him the past 3 days. I'm just looking at my notes here. Really quick. Walks the blue line. He's got a quick release, smooth skater, heads up, heads always up, swift passer, right on the tape. This kid he was one of our favorites. Crawford and I watched this kid for 3 games, and he's so quick, not just with his feet, but his processor. His hands are like, he get passes behind him. He's one of those guys that like reach his stick back, put it between his legs all in one motion, bring it up to speed. He's so quick, not only, like I said, not only with his feet, but he sees things happen, and he's not someone that delays. If it's there, the puck's off his stick, the second the lane opens. So he was paired with some pretty good players out there, and we actually thought he was he played with Gabe Smith and Carson Griffin, are 2 highly touted QMJHL draft potential prospects. We actually thought he was the best kid at times on that team. So again, Chicago, like I'll probably keep saying this all day, Chicago can get these kids to report. Chicago's going to have a wagon. I mean, these kids are high level. They're ranked higher than the kids that they're up against. They're just going to have to compete with some CHL clubs.
This kid's got a little grit to his game too, right?
For sure.
Tax the net hard. Love that.
And for an undersized guy.
Yep.
Next up, Cedar Rapids takes Ronnie Hill out of the Seacoast Spartans.
Yep.
Another late 06.
He's another kid we saw a couple weeks ago down in Attleboro at the New England Regional Development Tryout. He's hard on pucks. He plays aggressive. He's not afraid to be in front of the net on point shots. He's not there, being a peripheral or a side screen. He's trying to be right in front of the goalie's eyes. He's hard on pucks. He forechecks hard. I mean, it sounds like all generic stuff that I'm saying, but he's the kid that does it over and over and over. He just, takes good angles. He doesn't let the D-man get the net. Just the kind of stuff you want.
Yeah, he's going and he'll be at national camp, so he went through.
Okay.
Yep.
Next up, Murphy liked this guy a lot at the USHL Combine. Madison selects Ryan Luco, small, really skilled defenseman out of the New Jersey Rockets.
Yeah, let me just pull up my stuff here.
I saw him at the USHL showcase, and
I just saw him too, Brendan.
Yeah, we gave an A- ranking there. Like he's really dynamic with the puck. He's small, I get that. That's actually a true, probably 5'7", 160 is probably accurate.
Yeah.
But in terms of what he can do with the puck, wow, he's got forward hands at the back end.
Yeah, he's really slick, really fast back for pucks quickly, use the net to his advantage on breakouts. He could control the game, it seemed like, when he wanted to. He knew when to curl and regroup. It just showed a lot of ability to create from the back end. And again, he's one of those defensemen that plays, going forward, quite a bit and gets away with it because he's got such quick hands and quick feet. And he's very athletic and has a ton of athletic intelligence, meaning he can twist his body and contort in ways to catch bad passes. And he also uses his partner well. He sucks people to him and dishes it off. So, yeah. And he's a good player.
And Brendan, I just saw him out at the Elite Prospect Showcase out in Colorado. And like everyone just said, his hands and his decision-making are elite. So he's able to slow the game down. He rarely forces plays or rushes plays. When he wheels the puck from his defensive zone through the neutral zone, routinely created easy entries into the zone for either himself or his teammates, by just kind of stick handling or cutting to an open position and then, firing a tape-to-tape pass. So he processes the game, at least through the neutral zone, very, very well.
Yeah.
Next up, picks 68, 69, both Youngstown picks. And Deskins takes 2 guys that he obviously knows very well, 2 guys that played for him this season. We'll start with Evan Sophicatus. Sorry if I mispronounced that. This kid was the heart and soul of that Little Caesars team on the back end. I love this guy. He's getting an A- from us at Nationals. He's not a high end prospect by any means in terms of he's undersized D, but like I said, he's the heart and soul of that team. He blocks shots. He was the first guy on the ice in almost every situation. He's great on the penalty kill, clearing pucks. Really smart decision maker on the power play. I just love this kid, and to see his coach select him here tells you a lot because obviously he knows him better than anybody. Next kid, also on that Little Caesars team, Brecken Smith, small, slippery forward, another late birth here. He'll need another year or two. He's a little bit slight at this point, but he's someone that's quick. He's got a quick processor, and he's really good in open ice. He can make defensemen look silly, and he's one of those guys that kind of floats and finds a back door, kind of smart in his ability to read a play and get to the right areas. So, like I said, this coach took 2 guys back to back. Pick number 70, Muskegon Lumberjacks takes Tyler McGowan off the Anaheim Junior Ducks.
Yeah, he was at the combine, I believe, if I'm remembering. He was taken last year, 16 overall, I think, in the U.S. draft in the WHL by Victoria. He's mobile, an efficient defenseman, meaning he doesn't run around and waste energy. He can give a team quality minutes. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. He's deceivingly strong. Battles for pucks, and that's why he wins wall battles. He understands leverage, and he's balanced. He's composed in high pressure situations. That's just some of the stuff that I remember.
No, totally. That's what we have.
Yeah.
I only got to see him at the USHL showcase. Ed, you might have seen him there too. What I have down, protects pucks really well. Great zip on his first pass. Strong, balanced skater. Tough to play against.
His first passes are consistently almost always on the tape. He can skate it out as well, but that's, obviously if you're playing a league like the USHL, you've got to be able to make that first pass on the tape. You can't screw that up, and he does not.
Next up for Lincoln, pick number 71. This kid Tyler Wood out of South Kent. He's another Canadian kid. I just saw him a lot the past 3 or 4 days. Love this kid's toughness. He was trying to make a name for himself up there. We saw one play where a kid got run, and if he could have, he would have dropped the bits on this kid. He was attacking him, so physical, so tough. He didn't play the last game. He might have been hurt, which wouldn't have surprised me, just the way he played. Reckless abandon is what I would categorize this kid. But I loved him, and our scouts up there loved this kid.
I love him at South Kent. He plays his ass off. Exactly what you just said. I'm not surprised he went after somebody that took liberties with a teammate. He is as competitive as can be. He was at Mount and he left, and then I was at some games this year when South Kent played Mount, and he did not have friends on the other team that way. He had a lot of giblets on the tip of his stick, which is a nice way to put it.
Next up at pick number 72, Dubuque takes Thatcher Bernstein, tall, really athletic netminder out of Noble and Greeno. This kid was selected to the NTDP camp, declined. High, really, really talented goalie. I don't claim to be a goalie expert, but this is one of the top 3 goalies in the country for sure. You can make an argument he is the top goalie in the country. He played prep school this year, so he faced older shots. Really impressive year. He was the MVP at the Floodmar, which is a pretty prestigious tournament in the Northeast, as a freshman goalie, which is unheard of. Only goalies I've seen in the Northeast that have been able to contribute at the prep level at that age would have been Spencer Knight and Jonathan Quick. And both of those guys have obviously gone on and done pretty impressive things. So Thatcher Bernstein, Ian, you know a lot about this kid. I think you've coached this kid.
Yeah.
What's your thought on Thatcher?
I'll just say this: his upward trajectory is pretty impressive. In September, he did not have an elite prospects page, and 8 months later, he's saying no to the national team. So that just tells you where he was and where he's heading. He's probably closer to 6'4" now than 6'3". Hell of an athlete, really good lacrosse player. He's got some upside.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Next up at the 5th round, pick number 73, Sioux City Musketeers takes Paul Spino out of Edgewood, Colorado. He played for the Colorado Thunderbirds U16s. I didn't see the 16s.
Ed just saw him.
Yeah, I just saw him. Yeah, athletic, active, constantly jumping up in the play. Had a good stick. Liked his play in his own zone. Closed on forwards, coming out of the corners, didn't give them much time. Leaned on forwards, created turnovers, and then quickly transitioned the puck up the ice. I think we gave him a B+. So yeah, one of the better defensemen that we saw at that elite prospect showcase, and there were some pretty good defenders there.
Thank you, Ed. Next up, we have a goalie. Again, we might get a little run on goalies at this point. Carson McGinley out of the Phoenix Yeah, the Phoenix Coyotes. They have him listed here as a. Oh, sorry, not a goalie. Sorry, I'm all mixed up. Saw him earlier in the year. I haven't seen him. I'm just reading what our scout said about him. Carson has great speed, used it to his advantage, created chances off the rush in the offensive zone, explodes out of the corners. He's got a quick set of hands, separational speed, a couple nice chances coming, blah, blah, blah. Constantly moving his feet, connects on hard, makes difficult passes look easy. Looks like a small, skilled playmaking type. I don't know if you guys have seen this kid.
I have not.
Okay, and next up, Tri-City takes Inhat Pazzi. This is a Ukrainian forward, late birth year, led that Anaheim Junior Ice Dogs team in points by a lot. Really smart player. Watched him on video in the beginning of the year because I've been hearing about him. When we got close to the draft, I pulled up some more video. I don't think I saw this kid live, but I pulled up some film on him like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago before we did the rankings. Jumps off the page at you. He's quick. He's really smart. He's a quick set of hands. He's one of those guys that can maneuver through traffic areas, really poised with the puck, and he wants the puck. We talk about that a lot. I know Murph's a big guy on that of wanting to shoot, wanting the puck on your stick at the end of the game, not passing off opportunities. That's this kid. So I haven't seen this guy live. So I'd like to see that before I get too enamored with him. But we pushed him right onto our rankings right before the draft because of what we saw on film. Next up,
Minnesota High School.
Into the sixth round, picks number 76. That's the first pick in the sixth round. Henry Lechner out of Bloomington. This kid played Holy Angels High School, late birth year. Love this kid. Power forward, tough, hard on pucks. He'll go to the Nationals this year. We gave him an AA- ranking at the Minnesota High Performance League. Again, he's played against high school competition. He's tough to play against. He's got deceptive skill. This is a great pickup in the sixth round by Des Moines. Got to get a step quicker. That'd be the one knock, especially out of the gate. But he's a player. Next pick, round 6, number 77 overall. Sioux Falls takes Grant Dillard out of the BK Selects. He used to play in his Bantam year for that Chicago, I think it was Chicago Fury. Really impressed people in his Bantam year. Thought he might be a national camp kid. And was excellent at the 15 nationals. He's as tough and physical and strong as you're going to find at this birth year. He's got a big time shot. Just needs to get a little more agile and make a little bit quicker decisions. But this kid,
he's got some straight line speed.
Big time.
But yeah, I think Ed saw him.
Yep. Yeah, and again, everything that Brendan just said, I agree with. I think he scored a couple goals there, always in traffic, and he's so strong that he's able to get his shots off with people hanging on him or people that have sticks on him. So yeah, and he's able to get the puck to the net. Again, in the showcase setting, you could see that he could be a problem physically. He wasn't running around killing kids, at that event, but super strong, up and down the ice, north-south player. When he gets up the top speed, it's tough to slow him down. But yeah, he'll have to round out some of the puck and stick skills, but pretty impressive player.
Thanks, Ed. Next pick at number 78 overall, Green Bay takes Cale Primanti. This is a kid we gave an A. We don't give many A's out. We gave an A at the USHL showcase. You talk about guy from a stats perspective, right? If a kid's got a lot of points, if a kid's he's the leading scorer on the team, and maybe he's got 33 points, the next guy's got 29. Well, that's not really distinguishable. Pull this kid's EP up. He's got legitimate stats, and he can back them up. Really good with the puck. He's poised. He waits for the play to happen. He's got a junior-ready shot right now. He could score goals in the USHL right now.
Yep.
got to improve some other areas of his game. He's not the biggest guy, so he's got to get a little bit quicker. His balance sometimes, and he got knocked off some pucks against some of the better teams. But he is a pure goal scorer with an excellent release. And what I really like about him, and I'll go back to this, Ian talks about this a lot, he can catch a dirty pass in a scoring area and in one motion, catch it and shoot it. Doesn't have to overly settle it and take extra time. Really like this kid's game. Pick number 79, Waterloo takes Michael Phelan, right shot D out of Chicago Mission, who just won the Nationals.
Yeah, he gets quickly to the point of attack to defend. Once he has possession, he carries with his head up. He draws people to him and takes his ice and dishes the puck off to the open man. He plays a fearless game, shows recovery speed. Definitely has his best hockey ahead of him. He's one of those players that does a lot the right way, and mixed in with that is skill and the ability to transition quickly. But he doesn't allow a lot of time and space out there for opponents, and that's probably the best part of his game right now.
Thanks, Murph. Next up for Fargo, again, they're taking another Minnesota kid here. Like I said, they were very present at the Minnesota High Performance Tournament. They take Mason Stenger, left shot D out of Benilde St. Margaret's. We're starting to see some Minnesota high school kids pop here. Again, you like to see these kids because they played against older, stronger competition. We gave him an A- at Minnesota High Performance. He's mobile. He's big and physical. Plays kind of a man's game. Like what he can do with the puck. This is a guy who's versatile, can play both offensively and defensively, contribute on the power play. And like I said, he's one of our favorite defensemen in the state of Minnesota. So to get him here at pick number 80, so that's a nice get for Fargo, and he's got some toughness, which what they like. Pick number 81, Cedar Rapids takes Ryder Shea, goaltender out of St. George's School. I think that's St. George's in the U.S. I think it's in Rhode Island.
Yes, it is. Dragons.
Dragons.
Yes.
So he is. This is a kid who was at the NTDP camp, kind of struggled there, but again, selected as one of the top 6 goalies in the country, and they get him here at 81. Ian and Murph, you guys probably seen this kid.
I saw St. George's, but he didn't play.
Okay.
He's an athletic kid. He's always been in New England, one of the best kids in the age group growing up. I did not see St. George's play this year, but I saw him play in the fall. He's an athletic kid. Thought at national camp he had his good and his bad, but in general he's always been very consistent and been good.
Thank you, Ian. Next up, one of my favorites from the 15 Nationals, Omaha takes Jordan Geike. He's actually a Rochester, Minnesota kid. He played for Windy City. Really, really skilled player. He's got a great stick. He's one of those guys who makes a lot of plays at pace. He was kind of slicing and dicing guys at Nationals. Puck always found him. Puck possession style kind of type, and just a terrific passer. He was always coming down the wall, make a little move on a defenseman, but not overexpose it too much, and then was making nice passes into the slot area.
You can absolutely shoot it. He's got a rocket. I remember being a kid. Can fire the puck. Anyways, just adding that. I think I'm right.
Number 83, Tri-City Storm takes Ryan Kroll, big physical defenseman out of Chicago Mission.
Yep.
He was excellent at the 15 Nationals. Really liked his game. Big number 44. He's tough to play against. He's the kind of kid that plays the game the way the USHL is played.
Yep.
Tough in the corners. Lets play come to him. Tough around the net. Boxes out. Or if you like this,
I watched him play a little bit. He's positionally very, very sound. High compete and can put his stamp on a game in the defensive zone. He can dominate in his end. That's a good place to start and progress from there. So.
Okay, next up. Hold on, sorry, I missed right in here. We've got Diego Budazzani out of Langley, British Columbia. Played a game up with Coquitlam. Actually played a few games in the BCHL this year and was in the playoffs. So a nice get here, kind of under the radar in terms of U.S. scouts anyways. Again, this 06 age group, we didn't do the WHL draft list last year because they didn't play due to COVID. So we haven't released our Western Canadian list yet. So I don't have anything on Diego Budizani. We just had 2 scouts at the CSSHL playoffs. So we will get stuff up on him, but as of right now, don't have anything.
That's pick 84.
That's pick
right?
84.
All right, we're on pick 85.
Muskegon takes Jack Sadowski, 5'10", 160, out of the Boston Junior Eagles U16.
Arlington High School.
Okay, Arlington High School.
Ian, you can start. Ian's still here?
Ed, did you see this kid?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Murph.
So yeah, really, really slick hands. Can make something out of nothing. Moves pretty well away from the puck. Gets to scoring spots. He's not a transition guy. He's not a burner necessarily. Had a good year for Arlington High. I wouldn't say it was spectacular, but he's only in 06. I think expectations were higher than maybe they should have been. But played great in the playoffs for them. I think that raised his stock a little bit. He's a very talented player that some schools I know are interested in. Again, playing in the MIAA at Arlington High School. The Spy Ponders. He's a very, very skilled player who again, he's great on the power play. He can shoot it. He's smart. He reads plays offensively very well. He's got some rounding out of his game to do, including his skating, but he's a high skill player to get here. So it's a good pick.
Very smart. Very, very smart player.
Yeah. Yeah, saw him play. I think it was a game last year too. I think he had 4 goals as a freshman. Last year, just always around the net, slips in and out of coverage, and then winds up right where the puck's going to be, and he shoots at the net. So, yeah, not a burner, but again, smart, controlled, skilled, gets to the right areas, knows how to finish. So, yeah, skilled player.
Oh, he knows how to finish for sure.
Yep. Next up, we've got Tanner Henricks, younger brother of his older brother.
Ty.
I don't think what his other.
Ty.
Ty Henricks. Yep. Different player, actually, quite a bit different player. Obviously, he's a defenseman. His brother's a forward. 6'2", 185. Still a bit raw at this stage, but he's really good defensively. He was used in every situation at Shattuck. They had the best. They didn't win. They lost in the championship, but you make a pretty strong argument they had the best team in the country. He was a top 4 pair for them. And what I remember with him is just really long reach. Used it really well, broke up a ton of passes, around the net and in the neutral zone, held pucks in. And if I remember correctly, he had a pretty good stat line where at Nationals, I didn't think he had much offensively, but I want to say I looked at his stat line. It was pretty impressive. So
he picked up points. He was very good at, he might not be a burner, but he's very good at moving laterally with the puck along the line and changing his shooting angle. And he's got a good, quick little snapper that hits the net or is easily tippable. I think he's faster than he looks. Again, he's not a burner, but I think laterally he moves pretty well, especially when he has the puck.
Another kid off that championship game was Shattuck against Chicago Mission. Just had a Shattuck kid go. Now you're getting a Mission kid. Charlie Aaron goes to Dubuque.
He was a showcase, right? USHL.
I don't know. We had him as a B+, A- at Nationals. Plays the top on the power play. It's a really smooth stride, quick release.
Yep. He's smart, plays all 200 feet, quick release. Yeah. Have the same kind of stuff. Plays with his head up. He's got some flash and flare, demands the puck. Love that about him. I think he's a player that could develop and grow very nicely.
I shot you, Murph. I'm looking at my note. We haven't posted this yet, either our national camp. 15 nationals, USA Hockey Nationals. But he's in that B+, A- range.
Yeah.
And I've got 6 notes here saying heads up, smart, reads the ice, plays both penalty kill and power play. Great edge control.
His edge control is really good. His glide is good, and he can play physical hockey. He's sort of a jack of all trades.
Next up, we've got Drew Bross. Played up with the 16s. Ian, I don't know if you just saw this kid out at national camp, but he's a kid that can really shoot the puck.
Oh, I know this kid. Yeah.
And that St. Louis team, their 15s was really good. So, I mean, to play up on the 16s is.
I don't remember them. I don't know if I saw the St. Louis 16s. I saw their 18s. Their 18 has a kid that can absolutely rip it down the wing. I forget his name, but that's what you just made me look. I didn't see the 16s out there.
Yeah, I got it.
I know this kid. He's a flat out goal scorer. He can do it off the rush. He can do it out of the corner. He can do it off the cycle. He can do it by going back to the D and getting the puck back. He'll go to the net front. But his shot is if you allow him to get the shot on net, and even worse, if you allow him to get the shot on net with any kind of traffic in front, it's going to go in. He's that kind of shooter, and he should be playing 16s. Not real fast, but plenty fast to again create, pull up, drag and shoot, and pump pucks on the net. And that's what I remember of him. I'm not very good at remembering stuff by name, but I remember this kid, and so he stood out to me as again a kid that could really put pucks in the cage.
Next up, pick 89, Tri-City takes Brant Doobie. A little over 6'1", 147, so he's a little tall, lanky type. Played on that Buffalo Sabres U16 team. They weren't the strongest team, but this is I've used this term a couple times already today, but kind of an understated defenseman. He's not going to try to make plays up ice at this point. Kind of knows what he is. Doesn't trust his feet totally yet, but always in the right position. Breaks up a ton of plays. We had him on our draft board as a consideration. Kind of probably around here makes sense. And he's someone, when he puts on another 20, 30 pounds, it's going to be a different player. I think he wants to engage more physically. He's not strong enough yet, but a smart defensive player, good instincts. We'll round out the 6th round, then we'll take a 5-minute break. Muskegon Lumberjacks takes Sebastian Gatto. This was a really athletic goaltender for Detroit Honey Baked. At times, he was the backbone of that team. He was someone at national camp last year in Buffalo that you thought were going to be at NTDP camp. A little surprised that he wasn't. I'm not a goalie expert, so I'm not going to critique whether that was right or wrong. But saw him at the Michigan State tournament and loved him. His footwork for a kid at that size is excellent. And he's still got good body control. He's not sliding all over the place. He's not he makes difficult saves look easy, which is what the goalie guys tell us all the time is a sign of a good goalie. So nice pick there for Muskegon. They know this kid. Again, I think, if I remember correctly, I think McGroarty, the GM, coached this kid, so he'd know him as well as anybody. So we'll take a 5-minute break, get some water, and then we'll finish off the last 4 rounds here of the draft. Thanks for following along, and we'll be right back.
You're on. I should probably be ahead. And
Here you go, guys. We're back here from the USHL draft, phase 1. We just finished the first, 6 rounds. We're going to go 7, 8, 9, 10 to wrap it up. Started off here with pick number 91 at a Hermantown High School, Dallas View. Just watched this. Sorry, it's going to Tri-City. Just watching the Minnesota High Performance Camp. A grade. He's one of the best players in the state. I'm actually kind of surprised to see him slip this low.
was he at Shattuck?
He might have been, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. I think that's where I saw him.
Last year played, this past season, point a game. Now, granted, he plays, in the second tier league in Minnesota, but Hermantown's the best team in the state. He had a point a game. He wore 34 at the high performance camp. I really liked. He's tall. He handles the puck really well. He shields it with his reach. It's hard to get at. He's got a little bit of grit to him, which I appreciate, and he can shoot. He can really shoot. So Dallas View is a steal, I think, at 91. Sioux Falls, who stays in the state of Minnesota, takes Jackson Smith Knecht. Hard one to pronounce. Left shot defenseman out of St. Michael, Albertville High School. This kid was outstanding. We didn't have much on going into that high performance camp. Just didn't see that team. I think we only saw that team once or twice this year. He really stood out. Not only is he big, but he gets around the ice pretty well. He's got an excellent reach. He's tough. His net front game is really strong. He's got a hard shot from the point. This is a kid who could go on and be a really good player. He's raw. Like his lateral game struggled. He gave up some really wide gaps because he didn't want to get beat. But he's a player. Next up, Green Bay. Again, we're getting Minnesota here. Green Bay takes Owen Buzgens, right shot D out of Victoria, Minnesota. He played for that Chanhassen High School team. He was one of their best defensemen this year. He again was at that Minnesota performance camp. He had him as an A-. Mobile D, really good with the puck. He likes to jump up, join the rush. Smooth hands. The thing I noticed about him is on the breakout when he's pressured, doesn't panic. He waits for the right play, and he's one of the defensemen at that camp. A lot of kids are nervous. Obviously, they wanted to make the national camp. He would bait the forechecker, wait an extra second, and then work the middle of the ice. Did it in the neutral zone. Did it on the breakout. Something that we know because that's a next level skill that takes some confidence. Because a lot of kids with phage are afraid to use the middle. Next up, Waterloo at 94 takes Lincoln Hegelm, forward out of Omaha, Nebraska, played for the North Star Christian Academy U16. Don't think I saw this play.
I didn't see that. No.
Or if we have anything on him.
Well, I don't think so.
Okay. Sorry for
playing the NAPHL.
Okay.
Weird.
Sorry for Lincoln Hegelm out of North Star Christian. It's a great program. Just I didn't see them play this year. Number 95 overall, Fargo Force takes Justin Bartley, big defenseman, really skilled, late played for the Chicago Mission. You like this kid a lot at the combat there. Big kid that had really nice hands.
Yeah, I mean, his hands were soft. He moved pucks in creative ways. He used the indirect. He wasn't high risk. He also could hammer some people. So he played with both, some skill, some real sense in the defensive zone, and some power and some pop. So.
Yeah, Bartley was a kid real good on that Mission team that won the national championship. But he was a little more understated, a little more subtle with that team because they were. But at the combine, he handled the puck really well. He's not a burner. He doesn't have great feet yet. He's still kind of figuring that out. But he protected it really well on retrievals and could make a guy miss and then zip it. Really impressive. Other guy we keep saying with that combine.
His stock went up at the combine,
stock.
No question.
Cedar Rapids at 96 takes Jack Montaldo, Montaldo, right shot D out of Mount St. Charles. Did you guys see this kid?
I know him a little bit, Ian.
Yeah, you guys hear me or no?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good defender. He's kind of a 10-2 skater, but he plays with a stick on the ice. He's good in passing lanes. He's not afraid to block shots. He's not going to run your power play, but he can definitely kill penalties. He could be out on a 5-on-3. He's got a really active stick that takes away the middle. He's another one of those kids, Murph, that was up in Exeter right when coming out of COVID, or right when COVID first hit 2 springs ago, that we talked about. Good first touch, uses his partner well. Again, I don't think he's a kid that's going to run the power play, but he'll definitely be out there killing penalties.
Yeah, and he always has his head up and his head on a swivel. I think depending on the situation, obviously, if he has the puck or he doesn't have the puck, and those are important things because he doesn't make big mistakes.
Next up, we've got Madison takes 2 picks here, 2 excellent value picks. We'll start at 97 with Lucas Mann, 6'2", 150 out of Woodbury High School, Woodbury, played for Hill Murray on that really talented high school team that, arguably is the best team in the state. We've already seen some Hill Murray guys go with Ben Miller and Logan Hempler's on the national team, but this Lucas Mann at high performance camp really distinguished himself as a very athletic, smooth skating, big body. He's still got room to grow into his frame. I love the way he played. He's got to learn at this point to kind of handle the puck at pace and get shots off in stride, but those are very minor things. This kid's got real upside. This could be a real steal at the 7th round.
Yeah, we have him at 54, and they got him at 97. So we'd like to think we know a little bit here. So yeah, that's value. No question for Madison.
Madison with the next pick takes another guy, Chase Nitre, one of the better defensemen in the state of Michigan. Again, we talk about some guys sometimes getting overshadowed. He played with Jan Viria. He played with Dakota Rayon Mullen.
Yeah.
So he played on a really talented team. I think Garrett Fraser was on that team on the back end. So it's this kid is really, really smart. He reads a forecheck on a power play. He has a firm understanding of how the defense is playing him, stretches him out, knows where to move the puck. He doesn't make predetermined moves. He reacts to what the situation is, takes ice that's available, really soft set of hands. I really like this kid. He is 5'9", 148. I don't know his if he's going to get bigger or whatnot. He's a little slight. Defensively, he struggled with the power forwards, but what he does with the puck and his brain is high level.
Yeah, and he didn't just sort of play like, hey, I'm going to stay back and let you do whatever you want, Dakota, right? Dakota.
Yep.
I watched him a little bit. He's a player that he'll activate in from the offensive zone, blue, work the high cycle, knows when to head into the zone, and kind of help the team flood one side of the ice and cause problems for the opponents numbers wise. So yeah, he's a heady player. He knows how to make plays at both ends.
At number 99, Omaha takes Nate Porter, right winger out of Dexter Southfield School, which is in Massachusetts.
Yeah, so Nate is he was on 16's Eagles team that I coached in the fall, and then he's listed as a winger here. We had him playing center. He played really well. He can play with pace. He's got some sneaky jam to him. He's not going to be a banger, but he's got some, sneaky stick back to you. He played in our PHL last spring. One of the, couple 06s that played. He did really well. I think in the last 8 games of that, he averaged over a goal a game. He figured out how to get in traffic. He figured out how to attack the middle and dish wide. He's definitely a scorer. I think, like I said, we had him at center, but I think he's long term. He's going to be on the wing. He can one-time a puck, but he's really good at just finding the opening and putting the puck right there. It's not like picking corners. It's seeing the opening through the defender's legs and getting the shot on net to create a rebound and create another opportunity. He's an offensive kid. He's got some talent.
Yeah, he creates problems in front of the opponent's nets. Gets pucks there all the time.
Seventh round, 100 overall. Muskegon takes Barrett Dexheimer, left shot defenseman out of Edina High School. Don't let the stats on this kid fool you. He's only got 3 assists in 29 games. This is a kid who can play a two-way game. He was outstanding at the high performance. We gave him an A- there. He was good in the beginning of the year, played Bantam Elite League. He's tall. He's still a bit thin. I'm guessing because Ben Dexheimer was an Edina kid. I'm guessing that's a brother, maybe a cousin, who obviously had an unbelievable season this year with Madison Capitals. He's heading to Miami of Ohio. So if he's like his brother, it's a great pick. But I really like his game. I think he's a fluid skater. I think he defends well. He closes quickly for a tall, thin player. He's got a good stick, and he made rushes up ice. So I looked at the stats when I was out there and said, geez, he only got 3 assists. But, Edina was a really talented team. They had some older guys in front of him. Next year, he'll take a step forward, and he'll run that blue line. So that's a really nice pick for Muskegon. At 101, Lincoln gets Jack Edwards. This is a really nice pick too. He's a skilled two-way centerman from Penn's Elite. They had a great season this year. Did kind of falter towards the end in the playoff. I think they lost all 3 games at Nationals, but this kid was probably their best forward throughout.
Yeah, he's a kid that can grind shifts out, knows how to work the cycle, protect the puck on the wall. He's patient, he's poised. You won't see him make any sort of lateral turnovers, just throw pucks in front of the net. And but he's still able to protect, move puck around, and make plays towards the cage. So yeah, he's got the strength and the edges to work below the dots. And you like to have a player like that because again, there's another player that's versatile and can play up and down your roster in a number of different situations.
Pick 102, Des Moines takes Tristan Trevino, tall, athletic defenseman, also on that Pitt team. The kid, who's the kid, the defenseman there for? I just saw this guy up in Quebec. Owen Phillips for that Philadelphia team, Pittsburgh team, got all the attention. But this Trevino kid is really good. He's mobile. He's tight coverage kind of guy. He plays a tight gap. He manages that gap through the neutral zone. He's physical. He's not overly physical, but he's physical enough. He's good in front of his net, lifts up sticks, doesn't give much second chance rebounds. And his offense is coming. He was on their power play. He worked pucks around. Again, Owen Phillips kind of takes all the air out of the room when he's on the ice. He's a really, really talented player. But this kid, on a different team, he'd be the number 1 D, and he'd be the top power play guy. Moves the puck really well, flat, crisp, right on the tape. So I think that's a nice pick for Des Moines. It might have been a little lower on our board, but the more I look at him and think about him, he probably deserves to be a little higher. Sioux City at 103 takes Chase Stefanik, tall, athletic, hard to play against forward, kind of attacks the net. Still kind of figuring out what he is as a hockey player, but a lot of raw tools.
Yeah, he doesn't play. He can play on the wall, but his goal is to play between the dots and create offense, and he can pump the puck. And so sort of that side slot, he makes a lot of plays there. He's also, I thought he should have got taken in the WHL draft last year, to be quite honest, because he doesn't waste a shift. He competes like hell, and I think he projects as a goal scorer with some grit, some snarl in his game. But again, he can play on the wall. He'll grind shifts out. But I thought that his progression of late has been that he's played more between the dots, and I like him. I actually like this pick a lot.
I think he's a shooter, honestly, as he gets going. I don't know what his stat line was this year. Actually, I have no idea. I just know the games I saw, he scored, and we could have had multiple goals. He doesn't need space to get it off. He shoots rolling pucks really well. He can open up. He's strong on cross body one-timers if he's driving the net as a downhill tip. I think he's probably like 6'1", but he's still pretty lanky and lean. He's going to have some meat on his frame. He's definitely not afraid to be, between the hash marks. I think he projects as a shooter with a knack for putting it in.
Okay. Totally agree.
Next up, we have Sean Jr. Podine, son of Sean Podine, NHLer, Chicago Mission. They've done well with taking NHL kids sons of NHLers. He's really small. They have him listed here as 5 feet, 98 pounds. I don't know if he's that small, but he's pretty small. We gave him a B+ at the Minnesota High Performance because he's really smart. Thinks the game quick. He's had to, obviously, at that size. He's got really soft hands. He's dynamic one-on-one. But what I like about him is he's really good at kind of luring a defender to him and then passing to the open space. And he's another guy I talked earlier about having that command of the short saucer passes, 5 feet, 8 feet passes right on the tape. So he's, obviously at that size, he's going to take some time. They obviously have the Miller kid there that was undersized. They have who's the kid now in the
Chris Delaney.
Which kid?
Delaney in Chicago.
Delaney, I'm thinking the undersized forward they have out of Minnesota, played for Eden Prairie last year and scored this winning goal in the state championship.
Oh,
He was an NHL draft pick.
Yeah, there's you said Joe Miller, and then I'm not going to think of it right now.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm letting people merge onto the highway. Sorry.
Yeah. Got it.
How's
but
the electric car? Good.
Yeah,
he reminds me of that kid with Chicago. They have next pick up, last pick in the 7th round at 105, Alex Thompson out of Sioux Falls Power. This is a kid who played up at the 16s, really liked him in the beginning of the year. I think he's a little bigger than he's listed. He's at a Rink Academy. He's a really good skater, really strong, balanced on his edges. Allows him to play more physical than his size would indicate. He's got pretty soft hands, and his retrievals are excellent. He's someone that gets back quickly, can make a quick move, shake off a forechecker, and then get it up ice.
How big is he?
They have him listed at 5'9",
Okay.
143. He's a little bigger than that.
Yeah, we've got to fix that. I know this is a different Alex. There's a couple Alex Thompson. This is a different one. Anyways,
so
neither here nor there.
Next up, start the 8th round. We got the Des Moines Buccaneers takes Britton Alstead out of Wayzata High School. This is another guy. That's why we go to a lot of these events, try to get there, live and see these players. This kid we didn't have a ton on going into the year. He had a really nice Bantam Elite League where he got a lot of high grades from our scouts there. But it was at the Minnesota High Performance where he was playing with other kids his age group where he really distinguished himself. He's strong on pucks. He can get to the net. He's got a hard release. Like I said, he's got a hungry stick around the goal. Gets around guys wide. He kind of sets the edge and then cuts in because he's got such good edges, good balance. I like the ability that he has to protect pucks in traffic areas, and he makes a lot of plays. So he's one of the guys that's kind of good at everything, plays a mature game. He's going to translate to junior hockey, and he's probably ready to play at the junior level before some of these guys above him.
Yeah, he's coaching. He supports the puck very, very well. You said he's hungry. He's hungry to do that. And not a lot of players that have the maturity at this age to be understanding enough to know that I've got to go help this F1, and I've got to be the F2, and I've got to support the right way. I've got to slash back and help this player. I've got to go get there, and he does that. He does it a lot. So that's really important as far as success at the next level. Obviously, movement away from the puck. Okay, I don't know. Brennan's running around.
I had to get my notes here for Lincoln with the next pick at 107. They selected Vladimir Bokhtov, really skilled late 06 forward out of Shattuck St. Mary's U15s that were just in the championship game. I just want to pull up my most recent notes on him. I think we gave him a B+ at Nationals. Hold on 1 second. Bokhtov, 13. Finish check on the forecheck, wide rush around the D, cut in. He's got a poised stick, smooth pull and shoot. Always around the puck, hard to play against. Edge control, cut in on a line rush, quick release, diving shot block in the D zone, defensively responsible, hard worker. So that's what you're getting out of, again, we didn't have him on our list because he's Russian. Our list is US only. But I remember him from Nationals. I just want to pull up the notes for accuracy reasons. But late 06, talented player here who's a hard worker. It's a nice get for Lincoln. At 108, Green Bay selects Tyler Chiavetti out of California, played on that LA Junior Kings. Loved this kid. He was in, I think, at least one, maybe two of the parking lot post games. He's listed here at 5'6", 127. He's bigger than that. I think that's an old height weight. This kid can fly. He's got quick hands, does everything at pace. He's a smart player, kind of instinctual, reacts quickly to what's going on in front of him. He attacks the net. If he sees a seam, he's one or two steps and he's at the net. That's a really nice pick for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're good at this stage in the draft.
Pushes bad gaps on other teams, creates zone entries. Two other things.
Yeah.
All right, moving along.
Waterloo at 109 takes John Mustard out of Bergen Catholic High School. I believe he played either with the Gulls or the Jersey Avalanche. Yeah,
Played with the Avalanche.
Plays with the Avs. He's their leading scorer this year, I believe. He brings that kind of skill and work ethic to his game. Hard worker, gets in on the puck. He's got a nice release.
Quick feet, quick hands. Finds soft ice. He'll hammer you if he gets a chance. So he's got some snarl to his game. He can really one-time the puck. He can rip the puck. So he gets the soft ice and gets his stick prepared, and then he pumps it on the cage. So we have him at pretty high on our list. And it's a good pick.
Next up, we've got Thomas Zacco. Zacco's kind of a stocky, strong build. Played up with the 16s this year. We gave him a B+ at the U16 Nationals. We enlisted at 5'9", 195. So he's really strong on the puck. Wins battles in the corner. One game where he had 3 goals. So one was hard to the net. Tough on the cycle. He's got a rocket shot. Plays through traffic. Tough on his edges. So I haven't seen Zacco in a year. So I was reading our most recent report that's from the 16 Nationals where he played up a level, but always been a really strong, stocky skater, hard to get the puck from. Next up for Cedar Rapids, they take Isaiah Yates. This is another cerebral, skilled player out of that LA Junior Kings team. They faltered a little bit at Nationals this year, but he and Chiavetti were their best players. He's a late birth year. He's got a quick first step. He's smart, sees the ice really well. He utilizes all 5 guys on the ice. He's not one of these one-on-one type players. Really smart, gets to space.
He's tough to contain. He's an effort type too.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely has an energy game. Madison at 112 takes Jackson Ernst. Tall, thin forward out of Lakeville South. He had some high school experience this year. Actually played pretty well. He was top 6 for a lot of the year, and they had a very good team. Then at the high performance camp, most recently, I thought he was one of the best forwards there. Maybe not as dynamic as some of those Risto or as a kid I was drafted earlier that I really liked. But he's maybe a little more mature. He's another guy that, like I said with the last pick, utilizes everyone on the ice. He'll pass and then he fills a lane. He's not trying to do it all himself. And he's only 150 pounds, so when he gets stronger, puts a little weight on, he's going to have more of that power game that he definitely wants to play because he gets his nose in it. High performance, he did not back down, which I liked a lot.
He's got some length, and so he's got to get the strength. But one of the things he does that I really like, and players that do this tend to have success at higher levels. He has the puck. He's able to get through traffic. One of the ways he does that, he disconnects from the puck, absorbs contact, and picks the puck up once he gets past that player or through that crowd, and he'll center drive all day. So, I like him.
Next up, we have Another potential steal here out of Omaha, or out of Connecticut high school hockey, Nico Tornas. This was a player that was selected to NTDP camp, top 44 camp, and played pretty well there. For a kid that's coming out of a Connecticut high school, that was a big step up, and he got better and better as camp went on. He's got really soft hands, plays a skill game. He protects the puck well. He's got long reach. He also can shoot it. So he's a kid that's starting to climb up some.
Joel Barlow High School.
Joe Barlow
I'll
High
make
School.
sure we give them a shout out. Joel Barlow High School.
Thinking he probably fell here because he probably wasn't seen very much.
Maybe because he was at Joel Barlow High School.
Yep,
And
that's
they're not on ESPN a lot.
No, but he.
They run a good program though.
Yeah, but he's a kid that could have gone way higher than this. We have him higher on our list.
I think he should have gone way higher. Quite honestly, that's my opinion. There.
In the 8th round, we have
Good
Eric
pick.
Cald, big defenseman out of that North Jersey Avalanche. Again, we've talked about this a bunch, but now you're starting to see some of those second and third players on these teams. Julian Brown got a lot of the attention on that team. He went way earlier in this. But Eric Cald's a really good player. He's really good defensively. So might not be a guy who's trying to make a ton of plays up ice. Now, he does have the stat line, don't get me wrong. He's average over a point a game. He's plenty capable offensively. But what really stands out to us is his defensive game. He's really strong. He rides guys off the puck. He's got a really good net front game, head on a swivel, picks up the back door, lifts sticks, just some details there that I really like. And at Nationals, he could create for sure. He created on the power play. He's got a big, heavy shot. He gets it through, kind of a heads-up shooter. But like I said, I really liked his defensive game, and he was a kid who was drafted in the OHL as well. I wonder if that's what kind of got him lower here on the draft board. It's because maybe they're afraid he's going to go up north. But a nice pick there for Cedar Rapids. Chicago takes Carson Pilgrim. What a season this guy had. Again, he played with really talented players on that War Road High School team that made it to the state championship. Shagaby, there's a kid going to Clarkson. They had like 3 or 4 really high-end forwards, but this kid was right there. Another kid, A- at the Minnesota High Performance Camp. He plays the game with skill, but he also plays with grit. He's that energy and skill combo. He wins races to pucks. He outworks guys down low in the corner. He can make plays at the net.
Likes it when the lights go on too.
Likes
'Cause
when the
he
lights
had a
go
goal and assist in the championship game.
Yeah.
Minnesota High School, 20,000 people. So players that play like that in those situations tend to have success as they move up into places like the USHL. Lights go on, he performs.
Yeah, 17 goals in 31 games as a underclassman. Next up here for Lincoln Stars, Brendan Duffy, 6'5" defender, left shot defender out of California. Played for that Anaheim Ducks, played up a level with the 16s. I think we gave him a B. Let me just check. Got my notes here handy from the USHL Showcase. Brendan Duffy holds pucks in. Good shot through, keeps his head up, tall, shows some touch on his passes, strong defensive game, good stick, broke up passes around the net. Nice get for Duffy. I didn't see them saw them at the tier 1 maybe, but I didn't see them towards the end of the year. Dubuque at 117 selects Gavin Garland. This kid we added to our Canadian list yesterday because we had gotten some word that this kid could be potentially looking to go to the U.S. route. So again, like we've said with some of the Chicago picks, this would be a big get if they can get this kid down to the States, because this is a top talent. He just came out of the WHL Cup, where we're going to give him. We haven't posted that report yet, but he's a B+, A- there among best players in Western Canada, most of whom are first, second round picks going to the Western League. This kid's unsigned at this point. He had a big showcase there. He's skilled. He's got good speed. Kind of a Swiss Army knife. Needs to get a little stronger for sure. But seeing he's only 168 years kind of surprising, because he's got good balance. And he's one of the better forwards in Western Canada. So again, you can land him, that's a huge steal. We'll transition here to 118 Sioux City Musketeers, Cole Longacre. It's an NTDP camp invite. Big, strong, physical. He's got some puck skill. Makes plays up ice. He just went pretty high in the OHL draft. I think he was a second-round pick to Kitchener.
Do you think that's why he fell here?
It must have,
because he's a top.
Yeah, he's a top
50
talent.
kid easily. Yeah.
Ed, you've seen Longacre. What do you think of Longacre?
I don't know if Ed's here. Maybe you gotta let him in.
Oh, sorry, Ed. I didn't have you on the.
Oh,
What do
yeah,
you
yeah,
think of
no,
Longacre?
just hanging out, listening backstage. Yeah, saw him, I think, in Pittsburgh, and then saw him with the development camp. Yeah, big, poised, smooth on the back end. I thought at the development camp, I think early on in the camp, he was one of the better defenders there. He might have leveled off a little bit as the camp went on, but I just thought pretty confident with the puck on the stick. Makes tape-to-tape passes. Strong kid, so he can zip it. He can move it. Multiple zones. And then on the defensive side of things, he can lean on forwards, uses his body and reach well. Solid, big, strong defender on the back end.
Awesome, Ed. Sioux Falls at 119 takes Harrison Smith out of that Florida Alliance 15 team. They didn't make the Nationals, but he was their best player all year. We've been talking a lot about guys with hockey IQ. This kid's got it in spades. He's got a lot of skill, really creative. Makes guys miss one-on-one.
Got a cheeky game.
Cheeky. I like that. Okay.
I call
cheeky.
his game cheeky. He's really just kind of clever, fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely fun to watch.
Dangerous with possession, and he better watch out and be prepared if he has the puck. He's not necessarily high risk. He's plays a cheeky game.
Cheeky.
Gotta love it.
Next up for Sioux City, Malcolm Barr. This is a kid that Murph and I watched pretty closely at the USHL Combine. We were getting calls about this kid for the OHL draft. I believe he was selected in the OHL draft in later rounds. Played up with the 16s this year. He's not a flashy player, but he plays a hard, balanced game. He attacks the net. He's got good hands, kind of direct, north-south, and we really liked him at the Combine.
Yeah, plays a straight line. Once he gets going, he's really, really hard to stop. His shot is, I know people sometimes don't like this term. It's heavy. I think people didn't, know what I mean when I say that. It's just when it hits the pads, you hear it, right? And oftentimes it doesn't. It just goes in the net. So, I think he's a good player for sure.
We'll stay. I think this next player is one of our favorites. And I believe he had a big showing in the Combine as well. Mason Pappenberg, tall, thin, but really solid defensively. Played on that Team Wisconsin 15 team. We haven't seen a lot of the Team Wisconsin kids get selected yet, which is a little bit surprising because they had a pretty good club actually. They didn't make the Nationals, so maybe they weren't seen as much, but really liked them at the Minnesota Blades tournament. But Pappenberg, excellent defenseman. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. And when he does, look out because this kid's got some versatility to his game. He's got a pretty good stride. Was outstanding on the defensive end. Next up, Luke Gallo, 5'8", 150 out of Mount St. Charles. Ed, have you seen this kid?
I've seen Mount. I don't know how much I have to say on Luke.
Yeah, I can talk. He's a high energy kid, runs around, gets in as an F1, forechecks really hard. He's a bit undersized, but he's really abrasive, not afraid to yap. He's got an active stick. He's also not afraid to use the stick to whack somebody. A lot of jam, a lot of yap. He's a high energy kid who right now is very effective on the forecheck, killing penalties, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he helps in his own end quite a bit. Again, his stick, as you said, is always in a good spot. He plays really hard. There are times where he tries to do a little too much offensively. Not a major problem, and I actually don't blame him at this level. I think he should be trying new things, but he stays low to the ice. He hunts pucks all over the place. He finds them, and he just on a ton of pucks. So moving along.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean we had him pretty high. He ranked pretty high here.
Next up, Nika Jean out of Mount Academy up in New Brunswick. Small, skilled, shifty forward. Saw him earlier in the year at the, I think it was the Monctonian. This kid's got some dynamic to his game. Again, Green Bay does a really nice job finding some of these guys. He wasn't at the, I ran over to see if he was at the Q Cup, see if I had any notes on him from there, but he was not there. But little shifty bugger, kind of quick, agile, can make guys miss. Next up at 124, we have Joe De Laurentiis. This kid, again, we talk about some kids late here that are surprising. De Laurentiis, this guy, really athletic, really strong on the puck. We loved him at the Liberty Bell games. I think he was our highest ranked forward at Liberty Bell.
Yep.
And then he's just steadily gotten better and better. Plays on that Westchester Express team that's really good. He was excellent at the USHL showcase. Just a big, strong kid, really athletic, soft set of hands, and can rip it.
Everything happens at the net in every sport. He makes things happen at the net. He's a goal scorer. That's it.
Next up for Fargo, they take Benilde St. Margaret goalie Mason McElroy. This kid, again, I don't want to get. I only saw this kid twice this year, but what stands out with him, rebound control and kind of that body control, good positioning. He's got pretty good size. He's not huge, but I know our goalie guys in Minnesota think really highly of him. Said he's fluid. He's got good vision and smart. So that's our take on him. Next up, we have Toby Carlson. As we said, we wouldn't be surprised if we see some more Team Alaska guys coming off the board here. Toby's a really high compete forward. I believe he was at the USHL Combine as well. My memory serves me. But if not, really liked him at Nationals. Just plays the game with great pace, with a high compete. He's tough to forecheck again or to break out against because he gets in on the forecheck. He's not afraid to throw his weight around. 127, Madison takes Matt Molman, another Edina High School player. Played Bantams this year, but kind of a puck mover, smart, pretty agile, plays a tight gap. Saw him at Battle of Blue Ox. I don't think Edina was at Battle of Blue Ox. He was at
I don't know.
either way. It might have been
He's got good feet. Yeah.
But yeah, really mobile defenseman. He's got tight gaps, got a good stick.
Yeah.
He ran their power play. Kind of not overly flashy, but certainly skilled.
He's pretty good. You can run the power play a little bit, but I think it's more that he's low risk. Again, he's smart. He moves where he can get pucks through without having to get particularly clever about it. But his feet are really his strength, the way he moves around.
Next up at 128, Tri-City takes Alex Visnapu, tall, athletic defenseman, right shot D out of Albany, New York. Played for Bishop Kearney this year. Ed, did you see this kid?
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, this kid was really good at nationals. We've been on this kid since he was a Bantam. I don't know how many reports we have on him, but a lot. He's mobile, he skates well with his head up. He's quick to close. He's still trying to figure out what he is as a hockey player. Like sometimes I watch him, I think he's offensive. Another time I watch him, he looks kind of shutdownish type. So I think maybe that's why he's lower in the draft. But from an athletic standpoint, from a size and skating ability, he's a top half of the draft. So I like this pick here by Tri-City.
I think they might have spelled his name wrong. I'm not sure. Just an FYI, double check.
Sioux City at 129 takes Nathan
Rank that.
Larioza out of Culver. We liked him. Let me just make sure. I think this is right. We liked him a lot at
No.
the U16 Nationals. I think he was at the USHL Combine as well. So his late surge this season, we bumped him up onto our list. Doesn't have a ton of points this year with that Culver U16 team. But he's just pulling up our most recent report on him. Good size lefty, not overly physical, but strong, bumps guys off pucks, good mobility, straight line speed, somewhat of a quiet game. He played defense here, so he's versatile. He can play offense or defense. Good on retrievals, snaps first pass. So next up at Muskegon, they take Daniel Burahowski, son of NHLer, late birth here. This is a really nice pick if he stays in the States. He's drafted in the OHL. I believe his dad played in the OHL, or so we'll see. Obviously, McGroarty coached this kid, so he knows him really well. We're seeing some GMs here taking their own players that they coached during the year. So obviously he likes him a lot. 9th round pick would suggest to me he's probably going the OHL route, but this is a really smart, really skilled player.
Yes.
He got better and better as the year went on. Was one of my favorite guys at the Michigan State tournament. He's got really nice hands, plays in traffic. He's kind of a do it all kind of player.
His vision's superb, and he's definitely trending. He's getting better and better and better.
Next up at 131, Troy Hunka out of the Cleveland Barons, 15s. Like I said earlier, this is a team that really good this year. We've seen, I think it was Rachinski got drafted. Spalasi was drafted in the OHL draft. The defenseman there, 77, was drafted in the OHL draft. So Cleveland's had some kids over the last couple of days that have picked up. Hunka's one of their best players. He's got good balance for being an undersized guy. He's got quick hands. I'm looking at his stat line now. He averaged, he had 27 points in 17 games. He was a skilled winger. In the Nationals, I think we gave him a B+, maybe an A-. And what I liked best about him was his edges. For being undersized, he could get through traffic. He could get off checks. He's really good coming out of the corner. Picks pucks out of the wall and makes quick moves to the net. He doesn't try to break you down one-on-one all the time. He just makes a quick move, gets to the net, shoots the puck. Nice get there, 9th round. Dubuque here at 132 takes Robert Bartel. It's a kid who had a lot of teams were interested in this kid. Maybe not in the USHL, obviously as a 9th rounder, but prep schools. My phone at Nationals, I must have 3 or 4 different coaches from all different walks asking me, "What do you think of Robert Bartel?" So another guy we talked about people trending. He's trending upwards. He's big. He's got good skill, more skill than people give him credit for. He's got good speed to the outside. They used him all over on that national championship team. And again, we've seen, I don't know, we're going to have probably 10 guys off that team drafted before this all said and done. And there were games where he, Pardue probably the most, but other than him, probably he was one of the most productive players and most hard to play against at that Nationals. He got an A- rate. So A- grade at Nationals go 132 in USHL draft. Pretty impressive. Okay, next up for Sioux City, Brooks Cullen out of Moorhead, Minnesota. This is the son of Pittsburgh Penguins. Player. Where's Ian? Cullen.
Matt Cullen.
Matt Cullen. Sorry, thank you. Matt Cullen. Penguins know each other. We talked earlier about like a coach's son. I believe the dad coached this kid, or at least he did at the tournament I was at, Battle for Blue Ox earlier in the year. He's only 2 days away from being a late birth here. Strong kid, tough, plays the game the right way, stops on pucks. kind of a two-way forward. Net showed no quit, no hesitation going into the corners, battling for pucks. I don't have much notes on him offensively. Again, I only saw him play a few times, so I don't have a ton. I did just see high performance. I'll look up my notes and see what I had from him there, but just loved his grit and complete game. Next up, Fargo. Again, Fargo's taking a run here on Minnesota kids. Luka Roloff out of Grand Rapids. Just looking through my notes here on Mr. Roloff. I
It's
think
got to
I
be
gave him
John Roloff's kid or John Roloff's nephew, something like that. Also a kid, guy who played at Duluth and then in the NHL. Big tough D man.
Yeah, this kid's got good size, left shot D. I haven't seen him. I can't speak to him.
Sorry about that. Can't find him here in the. Oh yeah, okay. Luka Roloff. Yeah, late birth here, good size, athletic defenseman, good reach, hunts pucks, physical along the boards, wins puck battles, good net front, lifted sticks, head on a swivel. B plus. So that makes sense. He's probably went right around where he is. Like Ian said, he might have some pro bloodlines. Next up for Dubuque, Patrick Fortune. I think he was a leading scorer for that Pittsburgh Pens.
Yeah, he's a point a game kid. He's small, or for now he's small. He plays with a lot of pace. He can make people miss in space. He knows what to do. When he does create time and space, he's attacks the net in straight lines. He's not a perimeter kid, which you have to like, despite the fact that he's not really big. His edges are strong. He's tough to track below the dots. He's slippery. He's slick. He stops. He starts. I think you just have to. He's tough. He's willing to take abuse and hits, but he's going to have to get stronger. There's no question about that. I don't know if anybody else knows him.
I just saw him last week or the week before at the in Colorado, and yeah, everything you just said, Murph, is right. I think he's quick. He dips in and out of coverage. He's tough to track down below the dots. He's slick behind the net. He wins pucks by kind of slipping by defenders and spinning off checks on the boards, and more than a few occasions. Slipped by a defender and then found a man in the slot for a scoring chance. So, yeah, it needs to get stronger, but he can make some things happen.
There's some value in that. I like that pick.
Yep,
there's value there. Because he gets bigger, which I think he will. You're going to have something there. You already have something now. So, sorry, Brennan. Go ahead.
No, that's great. We're going to just starting here in the 10th round, the final round of this draft. Des Moines at 136 takes Dennis Lamanak. This is a guy we like a lot on that CompuWare team. He's super skilled, one-on-one kind of player. He can break down D. He was arguably, top 3 forwards at the USHL Combine. He's got good balance, but his stick skill is high end. And once he learns how to utilize all the other guys on the ice, this could be a really special playmaker at the USHL level. So nice get.
What do you think? You think his size hurt him here?
Maybe
falling. I mean, I think he's. I'm not saying he's a first or second round pick, but potentially higher. So a great job by Des Moines to grab him here.
Yep.
I like him.
Sioux Falls takes local kid here. Local in terms of he played for the Sioux Falls Power this year. He's actually out of Victoria, Minnesota. Caleb Heel. He was an A- at Minnesota High Performance. He's a really talented goalie. What I would say best about him is his vision. He's positional. He's not someone that's sprawling all over the place to make desperation saves. He's very controlled, kind of economical in his movements, if you will. He gets out. He's got good depth in the net. He's not too far in, and doesn't get too aggressive where he gives away the one-timer. So Caleb Hill, again, we haven't seen many goalies go. The few that have gone have been high end. He's in that category. It's tough to take goalies at this age, but if you're going by a ranking, Caleb Hill's higher than 137. Put it that way.
Goalies are they're hard in the NHL draft, right?
Yep.
I mean, look at the NHL draft. I mean, at 18, they don't know very seldom what a goalie is going to become. So, at 15, at 16, I mean, it's really hard. So
Yep.
you're looking for basically for size or athleticism, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Not perfection.
Next up, we have with Green Bay, they take Jack Browdy, defenseman out of Shattuck St. Mary's. He's an Ontario kid. We have him ranked pretty high. We think pretty highly of this kid. He's got to get stronger. He's 5'11", 154, a little bit slight. Defensively, he relies on his feet and on his stick to get pucks from guys, but his skating is really, really good. He's smooth in transition. He pivots quick, gets up tight cap, and maintains that he can shadow the fastest guys on the ice. He can shadow them stride for stride. Good backward acceleration. This is a really talented kid. He did go in the OHL draft, I think in the kind of mid mark, mid high, which we thought was kind of a steal there. So yeah, if Green Bay can get this kid, you're getting a 4-star player in the 10th round. That's pretty hard to do.
Yep.
Waterloo at 139 takes Jack Genovese out of Long Island Gulls.
Great value here.
What do you think of him?
Was he an OHL kid? Did he get taken?
He did, but late.
Late. Okay. Maybe that's why, he's a 200-foot kid. He's smart. He's got pretty good size. He wins loose pucks. He's the kind of kid that the coach will use in key spots. He's dependable, reliable. I don't know if those are the same things, but he goes to dirty areas.
It's very competitive. Very competitive.
Yep. Ian probably summed it up best there. Very competitive. And, just one of those guys that, as a coach you want on your team because players like him help you win games. This is a really good pick. Brendan, what are you doing?
No,
you want the next guy?
I was looking up the next guy.
Okay.
10th round, Fargo again, more Minnesota, War Road, Minnesota. So Kerry Eads, the GM, used to coach at War Road, won state championships there. Takes Ryan Lund. I love this pick. Ryan Lund was one of my favorite guys at High Performance. He was one of my favorite guys in the state tournament. Big, physical, tough, and as Crawford would say, he's legitimately tough. There's no faking in his game. Really hard to play against. As I think Ian said earlier when he was talking about, I think it was Woods, he said this guy he's talking about Boisvert. When he hits you, he wants to put you in the second row. That's what this kid wants to do. 6'2", 200 pounds. He's also athletic. He's mobile. He averaged almost a point a game in Minnesota high school for War Road, made to the championship game as a defenseman. We have Ryan Lund higher than 140, I can tell you that, and think pretty highly of this kid. So really nice.
We saw him out at the Elite League too, Brendan, and as an 06 playing in a league like that, especially as a bigger, younger kid out with the pace of that league, he didn't look out of place at all. He kept it simple there. He made his passes and kind of got up the ice, kept his gaps tight. But yeah, I mean, you can see that the upside is there for sure.
I think, Ed, if I'm not mistaken, I think Lund was one of just two players, 06s, that played the Minnesota Elite League this year. So again, to show this kid, his game's going to translate. We've already seen
He doesn't play to accumulate Instagram followers.
No, he doesn't.
That's good.
No. Next up, love this name. I don't know who this is, but I love this name. Deke Davidson, left shot D out of Seacoast Spartans.
I think Ian will know who he is. I can pipe in a little bit too. Ian? Deke Davidson, left shot D from Seacoast.
Yeah, he's got good feet, plays tight gaps. Saw another kid I saw a couple of weeks ago down at Attleboro at the New England Regional camp to go to nationals. Moves the puck really quickly, but he also has the ability to, Brendan used the term earlier, to bait somebody in with leaning to make a pass and then get the forechecker, the defender to move their stick thinking they're going to pick off a pass, and then bang, he hops and goes around them. You can't forget the name either, Deke Davidson. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, at a England development camp or district, whatever they called it, I don't know. To go to national camp, the two words that our evaluators use, and one of them was Ian's athleticism and instincts. When you see those two words used, you think, okay, there's upside here. He's 6'1" now, with room to add to that frame. So he did not get through to national camp. We can go into the evaluators another day. We could do a whole other podcast or video about that.
You wonder with Davidson, Murph, if that's Chris's kid too.
Oh yeah. He used to be the coach at St. Michael's and works with Seacoast there. But he's obviously I think he oozes upside based on what our scouts. I have not personally seen him recently. You're right. I have seen him, and he's gotten. If what I'm reading here, and I know it's correct, he's getting better, and he's just going to get better and better. So this is a pick that will pan out or could pan out a couple of years from now. So
he's another kid that was at that Exeter skate where we saw Murray and Matthew Frost. So he's. And
you had the meatball sub, right?
Yeah, ended my diet. Yep, ended it right there.
Ended your diet, yeah.
Toasted meatball sub with provolone. Yep, made it outside in the sun. Damn good sandwich, though.
Next up here.
Those are the days, man.
Next up, we got 142. Madison Capitals takes Brendan. I always miss Ty. We love this kid at the combine. Liked him a lot at Michigan State tournament. A little bit surprised that he went this low because he was very productive this season in Michigan AAA hockey. He doesn't have the stat line maybe. I'm looking at it, he's got 2 goals, 8 assists in 21 games. But if you watch this kid, you appreciate what he brings to the game. He's got really nice hands. Head is always up. Somebody that can survey the whole ice when he's got the puck. I thought he made some really skilled passes at the combine. And even in the state tournament, he can play through contact. I think he's better than 142. So that's a nice
way better. He blocks shots. He plays winning hockey. One thing that I noted from the combine, he had a 2-on-1, and a lot of times kids will force plays there, right? They'll force the pass to the other guy, because they don't know them and whatever. He just snapped it. It didn't go in, but I loved it. So he plays a little bit of an understated game, and I think that's potentially why he fell here. But if you want to play, have players that can help you win games, and maybe it's not all about goal scoring and flash and flare, he's a guy you'd want, no question about it. Yeah.
Next up at 143, Omaha's got back-to-back picks here. They take Raoul Boulard, 6 feet 170 out of Sherbrooke, Quebec. Played for Magog this year in the Quebec Midget AAA League. They played a bunch of younger guys. I've been up there sometimes in the Quebec Midget AAA where you might only have 1 or 2 draft eligibles for the Q draft. This kid will definitely get some attention up there. He's strong. He's tough. He's hard to play against. He gets in on the forecheck, finishes checks, stops on pucks. Kind of a solid two-way player. So we'll see. Omaha, interesting. They're Omaha, Nebraska Omaha. If you follow them, college team, they have a lot of French Canadians. Assistant coach is French Canadian, so could be a connection there. We'll see. Next up for Omaha, 144. They take Blake Barnes out of Little Caesars. Kind of I would say, kind of understated. I don't even know if that would be the right word for him. His older brother was a USHL draft pick. He's not a flashy player, but he's really solid. He's dependable. Put him on the ice in key minutes. I like his balance, his good positioning, kind of knows what he is. I guess that's what I like about him. He knows what he is, he plays within himself, and he'll get better and better. He's the son of Cortex agent Ryan Barnes. And like his brother, he's just a kid that might not be flashy at this point, but will just steadily get better and better and better. Next up for Muskegon at 145, Michael Mincello, 6 feet 165, plays for the Boston Junior Eagles. So
U16 Marens.
Did you coach this guy, Ian?
Yeah, he plays for me, and then he plays at Dexter for Danny Donato.
Okay.
He is competitive, plays with an edge, always pissed off.
Love it.
He's a kid who's not afraid to get into a altercation in practice. He plays very hard. He's been working really hard on his skating. Skated with me the other night. He's noticeably quicker right now. He's noticeably bigger, stronger. This is a good pick. He's going to go to camp, and I'll almost guarantee he ends up in a fight with a vet. I'll almost even money on it without a doubt.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Yeah.
146, Lincoln Stars take William Shields. This, obviously this is he's out of Bishop Kearney. Might have been he's one of, if not the highest point producer, 100 points, over 100 points in 69 games, including 58 goals. Just watched him a lot up at the Q Cup, and he was scoring goals there too against some really talented players. He's strong on his skates, strong on the stick, shoots the puck hard, fairly direct game, protects it well in tight areas like in the corners. It's hard to kind of get the puck from. Pretty smart in terms of how he reads the ice and finds time and space. But this is a probably second, third round pick in skill. But he's pretty solid on the Q from what I've heard. And it'll be tough to get him to come down stateside. But if he does, Lincoln just got a real steal here in the 10th round. Again, like a 4-star talent at this level in the draft. Pick number 147 for Dubuque. Cali takes another Euro. He's notorious for taking European players, got deep roots in Scandinavian countries, especially Sweden. And he takes Aaron Kivarju.
I'm not going to try it.
We haven't seen this player. We'll probably look him up once we get through the draft coverage. Pull up some Instat, get some something on him, but not a player we're
Other guys probably just throw a 5-star on him. Anyways, sorry.
The 10th round pick number 148. Sioux City takes Jason Bordakovsky. It's another guy we talked about Team Alaska a lot here. He was a B+ for us at Nationals. Hardworking, gets in on the forecheck. He's got a good stick, takes pretty good pursuit angles, finish checks, stopped on pucks. He's reliable on the penalty kill, reliable in his own end. Really kind of like his game. A little bit understated in the sense that he's not a flashy guy. He's not, it doesn't list his points here, but from Nationals, he wasn't a guy making a ton of offense, but was really hard to play against and plays an honest game. Okay, we got 2 picks left. Finish this off. We'll go with Marcus Kiersey for Omaha. Again, getting another kid out of Eastern Canada, Deer Lake, Newfoundland. Played for Rothesay Netherwood. Really like this kid's game. Again, he's going to probably, we haven't started that report yet for the Q Cup, but he's probably going to be a B+, maybe an A-. Strong skater, very mobile. They list him here at 5'10", 143. He's definitely bigger than 143. Can zip a pass, snaps it off like a junior player. He's strong on his edges. He can ride guys off pucks. Even power forwards, he was able to take guys off pucks, and come out of the corner battles with possession. So, Kiersey, another one you're gonna have to fight with some Q teams over him, but if you can get him.
Yeah, I mean, in January he got an A among Tonian, so clearly he's a player that our guys up there saw something from, or maybe he went up there. I don't know.
No, I've seen him twice. He's a ball player for sure. He'll be a top, first half, maybe top couple of rounds. QMJHL draft if he indicates that's what he wants to do. Lincoln with the last pick, Vince Kalstier, 6'2" forward out of Middleton High School. Played on that Team Wisconsin team. Tall, really athletic, soft set of hands. I'm going to pull up my notes here from because I know I liked him at that USHL showcase.
Team Wisconsin kid. Good size, good skating skills, plays hard. Gets in on the forecheck, back checks through the middle. Soft touch for a bigger player, good vision, playmaking. Stick handle a little bit, showed flashes of flair, of skill. He has time and space. He can make take passes and he can be creative. Good hard shot. Finds lanes the net. Go ahead.
For USHL showcase, I have a lot of the same there. Murph said he's tall, he's raw. He's got to fill into his frame, but he moves well for a guy with that lanky build. He's a bit of a project at this time, but has real upside. Pretty soft set of hands, uses his reach well to shield the puck.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's a player that they may have paid some attention, at the combine there because I'm not sure he's a well-known commodity, but he can play. He's got tons of upside. He just does a lot of different things well. All right.
So that concludes the day one of the Phase 1 draft. Tomorrow will be the Phase 2 draft. That'll have there probably will be some 06s drafted, but it'll be more 05s to 02s. We won't do the live show there, but we will provide some coverage across social media channels. Thanks for watching our show. We'll take some clips off of this and send it across social. Congrats to all the players that were selected, and we'll see you guys next year.
All right. Thanks. Take care, everybody.